This time, though, it's an intended target down beneath, and Spinks is nowhere to be found. So if Vitality are to get a third, it has to be from someone else. Flames exposed to the double doors, but ready for that peek from Rain, if it is to come.
Yeah, he's not making the full committed rotation at this point.
There's the trigger.
Kind of out in the open. Spray is bad.
Uh-oh. First defender's down. It is a fast flank around Secret, but it's also going to be Frozen, punching in the digits with no issue, no pressure, no problems. ZywOo, 30 health. The 4v4 is pressured from the backside of Control. Instant headshot from Brokey. Spinks is in the mix yet again. Has to be a part of the solution. ZywOo's there to do his part. Rain hanging on. Spinks dead. And FaZe keep on winning.
Yeah, that's right. Robson, Rain. Kills all around the lower site. Why did Flamesy stay there? Frozen in place, halfway to clock. He didn't get to the best spot he could go to. He knew it was going to be a lower site execution. He was worried about that door opening, and he took a hard fight into the Control window.
Surely back rafters is better.
Exactly. It's moments like that that you wonder how afraid they are. Vitality back on pistols. This is a nightmare situation for Apex, who has to call ecos every other round.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Sure.
ZywOo.
Yeah.
Dig into the trophy room is the 5v4. Now that does put the AK in the hands of Flames. We have seen FaZe step on a landmine when they tried to get by Spinks and his 5-7. Looking for another. Apex chiseled down somewhat, and now Flames is going to get boosted. This is a good activation for the AK. Nice angle, but misses its chance to strike down the Opper plus the bomb, which would have then recalled the two players who were able to move forward. Now it's, only one. And Flames' AK does connect. Things are getting problematic for FaZe.
Yeah, that stolen gun gets more. 3v5.
A nice transition yet again from Vitality, down into the base of the ramp. Not only the AK, but the Deagle in ZywOo's hands to boot.
I think they might have heard two pairs of footsteps going down.
I think so too. And maybe that's why this tidbit of timidness directs them instead into hell, potentially heaven, potentially into the hands of Apex, who just waits. And the longer he waits, the further they get. He sees them go, but he can't stop them.
He can't stop them.
Spread wings. They soar down from the heavens.
And FaZe is flying.
Into the back of the site they'll go. Pistols won't find much. It is Rain with the double entry, the headshots yet again, and FaZe just get through with a solution.
Wait, yeah, the rotations are staggered, and they become obvious.
But a little bit more out of Apex. A 3v5 with another rifle obtained, offered over to who other than ZywOo to post his impact. He's got them right in front, but a missed shot from the sight of Frozen is a fatality that Vitality can't handle.
They can't handle, man. They got that to a 5v3, and when two players ran the rotation down to lower, that was to get in front of the exec in the ramp. The idea was right, the timing was slightly off, and that's speaking to how quickly FaZe are making decisions. The fact that they were there obviously caught Vitality off guard, and they knew there's a sinking feeling. Both of us just ran full speed through Turnpike, dropped down lower, and we're going to commit to the rotations. On this map, okay, as in Maiden Abyss, if you go down, it's hard to come up. That's a situation where they know you've got to leave it to Apex, who's sitting outside of hell, his teammates who are upper, and meanwhile FaZe, using that audible, suddenly slow it down. Walking into Turnpike themselves, going up into heaven. Apex was even lucky to catch a timing, shooting someone in the leg on ladder. But what do we see here? Even though it's a 5v3, it's a 3v2 with range on the A site.
Now you give Brokey that long line. You see this clean rifle control out of Rain. Jubilation for Kerrigan, because that could have been another hiccup. The difference between a close first half and a chance for Vitality's T side and a whooping. Finally, we get the forward presence, right? We haven't seen anybody over here, and so ZywOo decides to take it up into his own hands. And with it, an opening kill. We've seen Flames try, we've seen Spinks challenge. Kerrigan not gonna get away with his presence downstairs, and so finally 11 rounds into this half, arguably too late, and arguably still too little. Vitality have queued up a third. But Rain and Brokey will work regardless. Missed shot out of the Opper. Rain will not miss his chance.
Oh, we've got FaZe so strong now, they might be trying to hunt to do damage.
Hold on.
Rain has some taps. Will eventually get neutralized. A third round and a very legitimate 1-and-1 on a rifle. That's what you want to see for Vitality. The question is it too late?
Again, right, another variation of some kind of outer play. Throw in ZywOo at the mix.
Yeah. Not today. Not right now, anyways.
It's been a game of cat and mouse outside.
Yeah.
It really has. But Secret has been where they've popped up from, and Secret has been where they usually fall.
One MAC-10 coming in from Frozen. Last round of the half.
Yeah, if that's your limitation, so be it. You have done a wonderful job of kicking off this semifinal fiercely.
Yeah, Vitality are gonna try to turn crumbs into croutons here. See if they can nag it forth.
Our analyst desk was bringing up Rain before the game went live, right? Saying if we're gonna have that big ticket performance, it's time for it. Well, 12-8, doing what he does outside on Nuke. Apex spotted out, takes away half of Rain's health, and they just hope that ZywOo goes unchecked. Oh, he eats the flash, won't be able to fight. Blind as so beautiful. And again, working with half of the HP, Kerrigan's gonna test this, and Spinks is ready to meet him with the barrel of the A-Force. Spam comes back from Red, drawing Spinks' attention, which then opens up the spam from Rock. Rain is continuing to tear apart this outer yard. And as Frozen gets his feet onto the A-play, the support's not quite here just yet. Mezzy eats a flash, and the bomb is being planted down on B. Excellent distraction from that limitation of a MAC-10. And leave it to Rain to sit and wait. And if he hears you drop in that vent, then he is going to be a slow crawl behind you soon enough. Meanwhile, Brokey, he's gonna have to maybe do this on his own. Two players coming at it. Oh, and he misses his chance. Now the pressure's on. But the question is, do they think that they can stick? And do they do it before Rain gets here? The Stone Golem creeping round. As they tap it once, the door will swing. No cover! And sure enough, from outside to the depths, from the start to the finish, 9-3, go FaZe.
Oh, for Vitality, it is a bad day for Rain. When Brokey died, you thought maybe there's a chance here. Rain is quite far away. He's probably hoping one kill comes down. They did a good job of dropping one to give an audible, but not the second player, so he couldn't be sure just yet that it was both of them. And this play is incredible, honestly. The way that FaZe approached is calling out every single position, and you can see by the way they're walking out of smokes, they know exactly where to look. It's as if those smokes don't exist. This hasn't been a map where they have broken those smokes open and tried to find an unfair fight. Instead, they've lurked through them perfectly to try to punish. I mean, Spinks is here at the top, and he has done an admirable job of at least giving Vitality 2 full rounds, 3 Ks on both.
It's all him.
Yeah, but that's all you can say about Vitality right now. Leading from the top.
Pistol that will certainly dictate the conversation of how Nuke goes down. We saw the fast upper A hit from FaZe. We see the Molotovs disrupt Frozen. Then they try to barrel through. Flamesy makes the most of it. Oh, nice tap. Rain finishing off what was left of it. Heaven players come swinging out. Kills were looking good for the defense, but instead, it is Vitality. The 3 last frags from who else? It's Mezzy and Apex. A resurgence from the bottom of Vitality's scoreboard when they absolutely need it.
Yeah, and he's the kind of player who needs that confidence. He needs to feel like it's going to be his day. They hit those shots in the pistol. Splitting pistols is great for the story right now. Again, it almost feels impossible that they come back into this map. But because it's Vitality and FaZe, because they know each other so well, because Vitality have recent head-to-head over FaZe, they know that they can say just come back, even if it means T side. It feels like this is the kind of game where a conversion isn't even guaranteed, not for Vitality. They use the same upper pop FaZe used on them to open up. taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, really just 5, 6 seconds later, that's all. Nope.
That would have been mildly terrifying. And it's all calm.
Well done.
Again, when we talk about something like choking or getting nervous, you're talking about retraining yourself to do things you already know how to do. Taking too long to go for that exec that you ran in practice over and over again. That won you championships in the past. When Spirit faltered versus FaZe, we saw that on Vertigo. A breakdown of doing things you already knew how to do, but then doing them slower, with less confidence. Vitality can move slowly, but with conviction, as long as they have time. They even need to show themselves on these rounds that they can stay coordinated and ultimately not be too afraid of FaZe, because they shouldn't be.
No, absolutely not. I mean,
they have the players and the weapons.
Bravery is the trait of champions.
That's just it.
And both these teams...
That's just it, because...
both these teams hoist trophies, so what does that say?
We could have said that Spirit wins this entire playoffs if that wasn't the case. You know, that's the hardest part about this all, is the pressure. That's been the story of quarters. You could argue that almost everyone in quarters had a problem with it, except for the known rosters, the ones that have more experience, that really mattered. Feels like here. The first CS2 major. And it is great to see that you can teach old dogs new tricks.
A little money to be made for FaZe if he wants it. Down he goes. 5th round for Vitality, but this was an easy one. This was no force buy from FaZe.
And now this is Apex Tapestry. He can decide what kind of half he wants to have here on T side. I think Kerrigan showed us a brave face by going out with a very high tempo calls to kick things off. Does Apex believe in his units right now to do something like that? Because you risk everything going at once.
Of course.
You risk dying in an undignified way, and that's the scariest part. If you bust upper and suddenly Brokey skewers 2 of you, Kerrigan gets the other players, it's a risk to go quickly.
And there is no doubt that over time the faith in ZywOo has grown, but Copenhagen has not been his event. And this map adding to the pile of disappointment, 4 and 12. ZywOo, go kill. Doesn't feel so easy.
Somewhere very close to us, Matthew's dropping a tear.
But the Romantics hold hope. And the pressure from FaZe as he does drop off of main. Mezzy, he collects the opening kill. Fights to be had outer. Nice flash from Apex.
Oh.
And FaZe's pressure from main to hell has opened this up. First guns from Vitality. And it won't do a damn thing for FaZe.
Yeah, you want to be able to call this right away. Kerrigan does something interesting. And talking about interesting, we've got one more in a cute spot here.
Bomb still sits over towards secret stairs. Frozen, very quick execution on Apex. At the very least, they have figured out where he's at. And so Bomb will do its best to avoid him. But that's ZywOo operating on his own. Lower, Spinks, vision towards this vent.
Oh.
But Frozen will have a chance at the challenge.
Wait, he has to decide if he's going to plant or not.
He's going to swing it. Bombs down. ZywOo, instant execution.
Okay.
His frag's not numerous, but impactful in this one, because if not, Frozen's on that bomb real quick.
No, that's a big risk to go for the plant in that situation. He also risks dying sitting in the site, not planting. So ZywOo makes the executive choice, puts the bomb down, and is trusted to defend it. That's just what he has to do. Brokey going above ZywOo right now, and that makes sense because, well, what we've seen from Brokey is nothing but class. He has had a great major so far. Big matches when they need him.
Spam fight. It's not like Frozen was taking any risks.
Oh my God, the game within 3.
It's a flashbang picked up off the dead body. Kerrigan chucks it out to just keep these lobby players preoccupied, and that buys time for a little bit of movement downstairs. This MP9 could be the golden moment for Robs. we want to talk about shortcomings at the major, uncharacteristically, yeah, ZywOo's on one side, but Robs, this was not his event as it got started. But my God, did they ever step up. The only thing is they've also stepped past the T's beyond him. Rain is on high alert. Robs will come up.
Ooh, well handled.
That's the biggest threat, right? Felt like they were very aware of the possibility of a lower attack.
It could have also...
Still, eyes behind to hold lobby.
Even a kill like that can slow you down, so it gets scary.
Could have allowed for the other pistol players to come over. Could have gotten Brokey into a chance to trade. But instead, this back and forth keeps all options open. And Vitality will take that door towards the A site. This lead has been cut down to 2.
This game gets closer and we get into another rifle and it keeps going the way of Vitality. This will be a reference map for Spinks, who felt very alone, I think, in the first half. Did more than his job to bring Vitality a chance to stop FaZe from getting to double digits too soon. A legend in the crowd. Always great to see Penny S.
God bless. No magic stick for Vitality.
But time bought, at least. It's about more chances to play. That's why this is a team game.
Ooh, Brokey given a chance. Risky business jumping over boxes. Still rather rapid on the approach. Wall of smoke goes up. And Apex's presence, unbeknownst to FaZe, he crosses over, just keeping himself just ahead of what Kerrigan could see. Now that follow-up smoke really indicates something's going on out here, but for the time being, CTs don't seem too concerned. Brokey has fallen from heaven down to sight.
Yeah.
And if Apex finds the timing correctly, then all of a sudden, he has compromised the back line of the A play.
A vacant yard entirely. Apex can't believe his eyes.
Nobody's watching. Frozen turns around, but he's missed his timing. Oh, but he still goes back. Frozen on a swivel. Also then shuts down the hunt. This one is all FaZe.
There's no way. 5 alive because Frozen, Mr. Reliable, checked his flank communication. Perfect. Rain calls a timing there. How many times in the last week or so have we said communication is broken down? They are not calling the smallest timings. Frozen, aware, because Rain definitely corroborates this information. You've got to check on this. Yes, I am in lower right now. I am watching Hell. I have the ladder, but maybe they could have snuck here. Literally, him turning around is the difference between a round 1 for FaZe, 10 rounds, or an 8 for Vitality.
Yep.
Apex would have definitely converted that situation.
Now we got a duel queued up here for Mezzy. We've seen Frozen fall through the smoke fights, but he's got a set of helping hands in from main already. Jumps over towards Vent, takes a bit of damage. FaZe 3 away. From inside lobby to the rooftops, utility to be queued up. Apex kicking himself for maybe not taking that shot, for thinking that he could get away with more.
You know, he had to wait for people to get in place. Oh,
nice shot. ZywOo shows his hand, all he needs, flames through the fire, and he's got a teammate coming through as well. But then Spinks hits the brakes, waits for the flash of Mezzy. Now 2 Ts have gone beyond that hut smoke, and Rain just keeping them sectioned off. Kerrigan then out from the silo. Is this not a masterpiece of A-site defense?
Yeah, thought they were in a calm place, but they were actually in purgatory. Apex, whoa, can he make this a meal?
Robs is here already. Takes a shot, but won't stop plant. Bomb goes down. Robs gets close. Apex halfway through this 1v4. Trying to keep the hopes of Vitality alive. Molotov for the bomb, but a smoke on top. He has to cross. Kerrigan forcing his hand, drawing him in, and stepping FaZe ever closer to a map 1 win.
Yeah, they made that as hard as possible. And as cool as that was to bring that 1v4 close, it feels like another opportunity that Vitality needed. As FaZe get to 11 off a second clean round. Right into the scope of Brokey in Squeaky to kick the round off. And then again, stuck in purgatory here outside the smoke after the mollies come down. Essentially waiting to die in FaZe's eyes. They're watching this with 2 players on rifles.
You know, sometimes we talk about ZywOo as perfection, but in this case, he's peaking squeaky with a molly in hand, caught out before anything can get going. Pressure mounts.
The Vitality fans don't give up. And the FaZe fans know never to get comfortable. It's always going to be an exciting finish with them. One of those teams that makes every matchup worth watching. Even on a bad day, these guys know each other so well. It has less to do with aim, more to do with reads. But of course, form is a question too here for Vitality.
Kerrigan making sound. Oh man, Spinks is ready for fights, and I mean, he knows he's got him locked in the corner, thinking maybe this is a distraction, maybe there's more to handle. And Spinks, not playing too individually, not chasing a frag there, but just making sure that he maintains all of lobby. That is his job.
Yes, that's his job. And the problem is that that can be a role that he can get stuck into. His team has to set him up.
Big move here, but it's going to be Rain still tucked in. Oh, ZywOo catching Kerrigan as he tries to slip forward. Flamesy will then get peeked by back garage. So that's another CT known to Vitality. One of them already down.
Where's the big round, ZywOo? When is your moment?
Because we have been waiting. So they walk away. Spinks heard that one defender on A early on. Frozen silently slips back into the all-powerful vent position. Rops is here to help him. You said FaZe Clan's members know each other well? Well, they tether so nicely, but no utility to deal with that. Frozen has to sprint out. Concerned about both entries. No eyes on Hut. He snaps over. Rops kills one.
Oh.
There it is again. That tethering. For a second, there's a gap. For a second. But if you do not pounce,
you'll be pounced upon. Where is the punish? They molly opposite vent. They push Frozen out of his comfort zone. He doesn't have a smoke to use. He ends up in a cone fire with Robs. They can both peek off each other. Look how they work together. It only strengthens their setup. There's no one coming out of Squeaky. It would have been a free duel to take, and Frozen, he has been reliable on his first trade. But that only made his life easier.
Look what they have.
Rounds.
All they've got. Tech9's a Deeg, Scout, Galil. Times are tough for Vitality because that first half sure as hell set a precedent. Apex throwing caution to the wind is already down secret. Looking to just change up timing desperately, looking to frazzle FaZe, to pull on a string, to open a door, to cause a commotion, something to get FaZe with their backs turned, something to get them off-kiltered, off-timing. But Frozen is given yet another chance to thrive close smoke, and the calmness of this sea of FaZe Clan's players is great. But Apex is the X factor. Frozen's in the pocket. He's got himself the double. Sure, Apex flies up from vent, joins the other rifle. Kerrigan gets off site. This could be his chance, his moment. Brokey looking outer, sees nothing. Numbers known inside of the A site. Kerrigan comes back, turns! Off of the bomb site, into the hut, but now without a teammate. It is ZywOo looking for the late game impact. Apex wins the fight between the IGLs, and so it needs to be Rops. If there's anybody who can crack the code, it's the programmer himself. And ZywOo hides. Apex stutters. Found out and dealt with. ZywOo, it is all about the swing, the if, the might, the maybe. But he holds. And Rob's falling silent, gets ever closer. ZywOo, go! Oh, stop it!
He makes the calculation, and he's correct once again. A clutch from somebody that we haven't talked about much here at the Major. It's about time we got one from Rops.
It's about time we get one like this from FaZe. Always better on the big stage.
Holding secret purpose. Smoke. Secret first. I'm playing again. Right there, yeah. I'm flashing outside. Lining up second, Hovey. I'm ready.
Go.
Go. Smoking.
Looking down.
Holding secrets though.
Only warehouse.
Yeah.
Going into blue.
Yeah. Can you get Molo, Brookie?
Push him above you.
Here blue, here config, here
Yeah.
config away.
Behind you, warehouse dead.
Nice. I'm taking space big away.
Yeah.
Kill main walk out now.
They're pulling face for outside. I'm pulling main walk out.
I'm flashing main now.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna peek it from garage.
I'm marked over again.
Hold secret.
Dead main.
Nice.
Dead
Come
main.
in.
Yeah.
That should be in heaven.
Nice,
Holy man! It's fucking insane! Fucking sick,
It's
boys. Come on.
now! But it's on sound!
Sick.
The world is changing quickly. Declare. Shut up. The world is changing, but one thing remains the same. Victories with 1xBet.
Level up your gaming space with metal posters from Displate. Hang your displates in seconds. Swap them whenever you like. Get official art from your favorite games on a uniquely designed metal canvas and choose from thousands of posters. Join over 3 million collectors now. Your wall upgrade is here. Shop now at Displate.com.
Yeah, what's popular, it's loud. And this is ASON's commercial. But ASON spent all the money to make the headphones good. And they got no money left for the commercial. So I'm gonna need you to head to ASON.io. ACEZONE. Yo. Code PGL, 50 euros off. We got some headphones. It's now or never.
Yeah, welcome back. We're about to break it down on the desk. First blood to FaZe, and I'm with a very frustrated maniac, less so pimp. Look, I keep it real as a host. I always do, and I never like pointing out poor performances.
Do it.
Unless it's apparent, and I'm going to say this. We talked about Zero all tournament. When was he going to show up? And actually, things have got worse. In this game, he shit the bed so badly, Johnny Depp might divorce him.
Okay.
You can have that one, Rich.
All right.
You can have it because I got nothing for you. I got nothing to defend the man. This is what a nightmare looks like for me. I am absolutely gutted. I'm devastated by what I have seen from Zywon this map one. There was a couple of misses, I will put it out there, but I just want to say FaZe demolished the man. The first half was an absolute blueprint of how to neutralize a man that is supposed to be the best player in the world and make him look like an absolutely defenseless kitty out there. Could not do anything right on the server. Was flashed, was jiggle peeked, was predicted, was anticipated. FaZe destroyed this man to the point where if you tab, you wouldn't even know he was on the server. And my heart is bleeding right now because I got nothing to give you. He missed the mark. That was a dishonor on this first map, and there needs to be more after that.
We said it coming into the matchup. Saivu and Nuke goes hand in hand. It is by far his best map. It's a map where he's been averaging a rating of 1.57 the past 6 times he's played it. Today was a game off for Saivu. As you said, Matthew, you got to give a lot of credit towards FaZe Clan for
course.
the playing conditions for Saivu, for the very uncomfortable. You see him being caught off guard. You see him being flashed. You see him being jiggle peeked. But he had his chances on the T side to get back into the game, and he failed to do so. We have to go back more than 470 days since last time ZywOo had a rating below 0.85, which he had today. It's more than a year and a half ago since he had a stinker on Nuke, and he's played more than 60 matches on the very same map. For ZywOo to have a game like this in a major semifinal, it's hurtful.
And this is why I'm enraged, right? It's one thing to have a bad half. It's one thing to have FaZe counter you, because I really think in the first half, I want to give the credit to FaZe and the protocol they use to sort of neutralize him. But when you move on to the second half, and your name is ZywOo, and you have an anti-eco, you tell Flames, give me that Mac 10. I will go out there, I'm going to farm the kills, I'm going to put myself back in the game. Why is he playing like a team player when you have 8 kills? It's not the moment to do it. It's the moment to call your own number, because you know what you can do once you have that confidence. And I agree with you, this is the real tragedy. Never coming back into the game when Vitality was making a case for it. Spinks was here, Apex had a couple of calls on T side, and this was a miss. Now, I got it out of my system. My blood tension is going down a little bit. Let's give some praises to FaZe fans.
No, we should, absolutely.
Clinical performance from them.
Yeah, I mean, look, I sort of joked before we went in, maybe we'll get the pop-off game from Rain, who's had a quiet tournament. Sure. But I remember how good he can be on this map and how he can dominate. And look at these numbers. And people have already been doing that thing they always do with Rain. Or get him out, replace him with somebody else. He's old, he's done. You're not a real fan of FaZe if you want Rain to ever leave FaZe. He's the backbone. Carrigan says that. If you love Carrigan and you agree with his opinions, then you must love Rain by proxy. That's how it works.
I think that conversation died years ago. You know, there was a time in place maybe where you could have the conversation. For Rain, though, he's shown time and time again that he will show up in the big playoff game. As much as I want to focus on Rain and highlight him as having a fantastic game, which he did, it's more so how he was set up together with the rest of the team. The T side calling from Carrigan, the way FaZe approached this game, it was picture perfect Counter-Strike. So many moments I actually felt Vitality had a good idea of what they wanted to do, but a single flash, a perfect execution, a perfect jiggle peek. You have FlameC standing on the lower bomb side being triple peeked.
Don't even mention it. Don't even mention it.
It's a horrible
I can't deal with that.
But perfect from FaZe Clan. You have ZywOo standing close in yard, and a perfect flash is coming in, and he got nothing to show for whatsoever. The way FaZe Clan were approaching this T side was some of the best Counter-Strike I've seen in a very long time.
Well, specifically get into it, right? What did they do so well in terms of, you know, neutralizing Vitality? Who you said at the start of the veto, this is a dangerous map pick. This could be a mistake. Vitality can play this.
Well, listen, extremely versatile on the T side, and they won the few rounds that I think were instrumental, pivotal. Round 5 is a good example. We can dive into this. Okay. Round 4 is the Spinks scenario with the 5-7 router. It's a triple kill. What do you do if you're FaZe? Right off the bat, 1.40 A execute. You can see all the utility coming in, and Vitality are completely off guard. They have one man with a little bit of hell on top, hides in the smoke, completely sells his teammate, by the way. I don't know if you're looking at Amazon Prime, because Messi's already out. Spinks dies in the smoke, and you definitely close the round in the 20 seconds mark. Now, just mentally, you have to realize what this means. This was right after Vitality caught on fire. We saw the reaction after the clutch from Spinks. Yeah. Everybody stands up there. This is the immediate just night-night, buddy. Night-night, go back to sleep. That's exactly what FaZe did with that hit.
And they kept on doing it. We have round 10 as well. We can show it to the people out there. Another round coming in for FaZe Clan where they did well. If I'm not mistaken, Carrigan was feeling super excited about it, super happy. ZywOo finding a nice kill right here, getting a bit lucky, maybe enough to get him started. FaZe struggling, you know, find himself in a 4v5 right here, losing another player in yard, making it a 3v5 at that point. Again, a smoke kill, maybe a little bit lucky. Sometimes you need a bit of luck to get back into the game. Here's the issue though. FaZe Clan walks out ramps. They hear the two players rotating towards lower. They go up in heaven. Apex is missing the mark, missing the timing, and all of a sudden, it's all falling apart from Vitality again. And the reason why I want to showcase this round is, even though Vitality had 2 kills through the smoke, arguably getting a little bit lucky, FaZe still found a way back into this round. They still played picture-perfect Counter-Strike.
I mean, listen, I'll let you give the praise to Carrigan for that one. I think he deserves some, but that's a disgrace from Vitality. This round is a disgrace. When you're 5v3, you're finally being given that information, that position. You have the AK on FlameC and ZywOo down, and you avoid the ramp like that, you give them the space. Brother, do something. Retake an information. Make sure that you have a buddy system to help out. Yeah. Why is FaZe having the control of the map in a 3v5? And granted, the calls from Carrigan, absolutely beautiful. I mean, listen, clap, clap to finding that. But there's not be a gap. Why is there a gap in a 5v? What am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 5 CT, 3 Ts. Why is there a gap? Like, why am I missing? This is a team that's under fire, a team that's got no oxygen, and for that, Kerrigan, maestro round for him.
Yeah, look, you've got a chance to get some oxygen into your bloodstream, Matteo. We're going to go to Parla on the stage.
Thank you, Richard. Everyone in this arena. Up next, a very special guest, an esteemed guest, once the most feared lurker in the world. 5 major finals, 1 major trophy. Everybody in here, raise the roof for Christopher Goodroyd Alusand! Christopher, how are you doing? Are you enjoying the arena vibes, mate?
I'm just so happy to be back. I mean, you don't want to miss a major, and now CS2 is out finally, and it's the first one here in Copenhagen. It's just amazing times, if you ask me.
Absolutely amazing times. Simple one up next. Who's taking the W, Vitality or FaZe?
I mean, I think someone needs to step up a little bit, right? From after the first map. Sorry to say that, but I mean, I'm just hoping it's going to be 3 maps, if you ask me. That's what I want to see.
I think we all want to see 3 maps, right? Final question, Christopher. Final words even. I'm going to leave them with you. Anything that you'd like to say, a message to our crowd here and our fans at home.
Oh, I'll take it for 1 second. Okay. Hi everyone, once again, I'm here. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Finally, we have CS2 around the corner. We have finals. We have Richard Lewis back on the desk. Hi buddy, much love for everyone who's doing in the scene, etc. And it's just amazing to be back and see you filling up the arena. Because Counter-Strike is the best game out there, right? And that's why we're here. We love the game, we love the people, we love all the teams and players and so on. And we're gonna keep doing what we're doing because you guys are the best. Have a lovely time here in the Royal Arena.
Richard, and the desk, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Parla. Yeah, good to see another legend on the stage. Much love to Get Right. Gave so much to the game. And what Vitality wouldn't do for a player like him right now as we head into this map, brought to you by our sponsor, Displate. Now, just to show you, these are super easy to mount. I'll show you the back. A magician shouldn't reveal his tricks, but these are like magic. They just use magnets and super easy. You don't need a tool to mount them. And they've been sponsoring the major, and they've even increased the discount that you can get. If you get 1 or 2, you get 30% off, and if you get 3 or more, 36% off. And you go to display.com/PGL. Make sure you use the code, and you can choose from all the officially licensed Counter-Strike artwork, and even up 200 different types of licensed artwork. But you will notice this time I chose a specific Displate guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's got vertigo.
I have massive respect for Displate making vertigo look so sexy. I'm not gonna lie, it actually looks like a decent map from the out perspective right here.
Listen, I might actually just leave that there.
I mean, we can do analysis on the display right here. You know,
please.
if we're talking about vertigo,
please.
You know, we can talk about a little bit about the B side, maybe.
Yeah.
Messi presence over here. We can talk about what if I can find Zaiwu around A here in an AWP. Wasn't he really on the first map? This could be something. So I'm actually going to try and put my glasses on, see if I find.
Yeah, let's do it.
Where are you, buddy? Where are you at? Wait,
listen,
maybe over here.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes. Vertigo coming up. This has been the wild card of the major for FaZe. And you said when you put it out there, they're going to float it. We saw with that Anubis ban at the start of the veto. And Kerrigan was just, he was doing this. I'm all ears.
Sure.
We can play this map. We can beat Vitality on this map. What do you guys think?
I'm curious to see whether or not FaZe can replicate the performance we saw against Team Spirit. One thing is going in, you know, when the map is brand new, you got nothing to show for, and obviously Team Spirit were a little bit surprised. Now there's material on FaZe Clan. If you're Vitality, you would have prepared for Vertigo. You knew it was an opportunity. You even picked it in towards FaZe Clan. So you have a little bit to look into. One of the main issues for me is whenever I watch Vitality play Vertigo, it all comes down to Zaiwu. I hate that we have to rediscover this whole conversation once more. His T-side rating on Vertigo is 1.6 on average. He's the guy and the only guy in a plus rating on average from Vitality when it comes to the map of Vertigo. If he's not going to show up tonight, there's absolutely no chance whatsoever Vitality is winning, despite it being their own map pick.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, listen, I'll bring you back to Stockholm and the first 2 games of the Legend Stage and the famous Apex quote which said to Zaiwu, if you don't start playing now, buddy, it's over.
Yeah.
Probably a similar conversation happening in batch stage, but I will say the issue that you have if you're Vitality is that it doesn't really matter how deep the playbook for FaZe is right now. They are in a prime position to play FU Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
In your face CS. We're going to throw the rulebook out the window. We're going to cross smokes. We're going to abuse timings. We're going to play very punchy Counter-Strike. We know they can. They have the weapons for it. We had a couple of highlights from Rain, just stretching his legs outside, finding kills. This map can offer some of these solutions. Talking about the A side, you give a money advantage to FaZe, and suddenly they're up there, they're finding you. So I don't think they're expert at the map, but I also don't think it matters. I think they're in the perfect position right now to strike, and my heart bleeds, but the 2-0 is right around the corner.
One of the things that I was the most impressive about coming in and watching FaZe Clan play this map of Vertigo was the way Kerrigan was playing on the A-bomb side. Him and Apex are playing the same role, trying to dictate the pace on the A-ramp. Kerrigan was finding multiple multi-kills within that position. He was playing hearts out, some of the best Counter-Strike individually Kerrigan has played in quite some time. My issue is that we know Apex is going to be aggressive towards ramp. We even heard Kerrigan say it himself up here on the desk that the A-ramp control is what we're looking for, right? That's the fight we want to take. So it's going to be Kerrigan facing off versus Apex in the exact same position. And I've seen Kerrigan play more Counter-Strike and better Counter-Strike at this tournament than I have in a while. You laugh, I wouldn't be comfortable
you're right.
if I were Apex in that position.
No. Well, while you're talking about that, G2 want to get involved in the desk action. They've got their own analysis, and you can see there, we've been there.
That's fair. That's a good throwback.
Yeah,
really
not
is.
a bad throwback
and
at all.
That's so unfortunate, because of course, if you're Apex at this time, you think you have them exactly where you want to, but the problem is, you could see by the movement of FaZe that they were aware of that risk. So I'm not even faulting him. Listen, he went for the multi-kill, he tried, and obviously now he's ended up being a little bit of a Nico camouflage, a Nico camo. That's what happened over there.
It happens. Look, so quickly, just before we get back into the action, is there a danger here that by FaZe floating Vertigo, you know, I know Xtaz and Apex, I know how hard they work. They will have seen the Spirit game. They've probably looked at the demo before they even, you know, lock this map in. And I do have to say that while FaZe won that map and they looked better than we expected, they did start to run out of steam. There was another world where had 1 or 2 rounds just gone the other way. We're talking about Spirit right now and not FaZe. So maybe Vitality have their number.
I mean, listen, if you're a Vitality, you know that this was a possibility. This is a scenario that you had to prepare. It was made very clear that FaZe was ready to throw a little bit of Vertigo here and there. So this situation must have been anticipated, must have been prepared. Now, my issue is that I don't really know if I rely on their level overall. It's been a map that's mostly at the bottom of the pack in terms of this new roster.
Sure.
I'm struggling to find certainties here, but what I know is this is not a curveball per se. This had to be discussed, this had to be prepared, this had to be anticipated.
Yeah, final thoughts, Jacob.
Yeah, you're not surprised if you're Vitality, and you're obviously not surprised if you're Apex. You knew what you were walking into within this video as well. One thing I will say is that, yes, we have been impressed by FaZe Clan, especially their performance inside the arena so far, but let's not forget that Counter-Strike does come down to the nitty-gritty. They've only had 1 game on Vertigo. They almost threw it away against Spirit after having a fantastic start. They were riding on the momentum, maybe the same momentum they can use to apply pressure to Vitality right now. But one thing is for certain, when you're playing a new map on a stage like this, when you haven't really used it in any tournament for 4 or 5 months, your plan A, if that's not working, you don't have a plan B. You don't have a plan C. You don't have a plan D. How are you going to find solutions on a map that you never really played the past 4 months? So if Vitality can withstand the first, let's say, wave of pressure, wave of momentum, then they can win this map nice and easily. But if they go into the fight where Vitality is getting scared once more and playing bad Counter-Strike, well, we could look at a 2-0.
All right, well, thanks a lot, guys. It's time to take you back to our commentators for some hate maxing, some fraud watching, some scrawn dogging. It's Scrawny and Launders.
Yes, thank you, Richard. Thank you, Desk. That's right. Map up our FaZe, but the beauty of this match is both teams championship quality.
That's right. We've got the reigning major champs versus the King Slayers in FaZe Clan, playing for the first time before you today in playoffs at a major. So Royal Arena, on your feet. Let's make history!
Hell yeah! Pistol round queued up. Vertigo queued up. A question mark queued up, because what do FaZe bring to the table? Can Vitality punish them for believing that they now have this in their fancy bag of tricks?
That is the big question. Vertigo feels like the decider these days, especially when FaZe are involved. And we are teed up potentially for a 2-0. Vitality need to change that. They know they can win this map. They're just worried about why FaZe wanted to play it.
And not only does Robs go to the bottom of ladder, we've actually got Brokey and Frozen here towards T-spawn, so tons of pressure on the flank. And that conversation back of Nuke of like sometimes hesitating, not moving forward, it could very well come back to haunt Vitality right now. Those flanks are getting closer. Frozen activates, catches Apex. Now no more option to fall back. ZywOo early on, one and done. Bomb down, Flames along the smoke with Mezzi will take man advantage. So your flank's all fine and dandy, but now it's a retake. And now it is a climb over the wood that is demanded of them, and Vitality are ready to go right back into that fight.
I wish I could get to be a. I wish I could have heard the halftime or the break speech from Apex to his roster coming into Vertigo. What did he say to them? Because this is a level of fired up that I feel like we were missing a little bit on Nuke. That was perfect amounts of aggression here. And there was a hiccup, okay? When ZywOo doesn't get his, in this moment, the best pistoling player of 2023, best player with every single gun in 2023, you'd think, all right, they've got a problem. Flanks coming in, they're gonna lose spots moving forward, but it's young guys actually up front at Generator to create more space.
Nobody home on Tetris. Rain leans back. And Rain is a B anchor on Vertigo. Makes sense to me. Gotta prove the entity that is the solo defender. This time Apex very quickly. Just gonna charge him down, Mac 10, money made, bomb plant, all good.
Yeah. That's clean, it's a much better start.
What do you make of this idea that FaZe can suddenly start floating Vertigo in a best of 3?
The thing is, I mean, they built confidence. They probably put in a lot of prep into the map. It's definitely to say, though, when we saw that Spirit match, it felt like the playbook maybe ran dry a little bit when it came to T side. Spirit were able to just slowly climb back. Donk still had a great game versus them. So they didn't get everything that they were looking for in terms of map prep. But now we are a series removed from that. We don't know what happens when FaZe are in the gym, workshopping new ideas, fixing what they learned in that very tough game that went on a long time. And I think it's in the overtime rounds that you get the most growth. And when the game gets extended as far as it did versus Spirit, I think that's when you really saw that their ideas started flowing more. There was not just preparation, but also freedom and confidence of the individuals on the map. It came down to a very close moment at the end.
Insanely.
Yeah. We don't know what would have happened if the game went on. And Spirit were definitely capable of closing it out. But that can be said for any match. Again, this one's about pressure.
As the panel mentioned, rounds away from seeing Spirit in this head-to-head instead.
Obviously, Kerrigan's known for having the best vetoes in history. And we've seen teams take risks, right? We've seen IGLs and coaches try to do things by picking a cool map, but sometimes that blows back in their face. They don't win,
right?
You're not a genius. Well, Kerrigan can pick the map that he barely plays.
And sometimes
at the perfect moment and win in an important game. To do it in playoffs.
That's when it works wonderfully. And that was that beautiful comparison post-match versus Spirit, where it's like, this is kind of, you know, Glabe's Vertigo versus Liquid in Berlin type beat. Brings it forward here at the very first CS2 major. Now what we've got is a forward-facing Rain. A wonderful flash comes out to support him, but not able to really capitalize with the CZ. Poor Rob's thinking maybe he could trick them, take the place of the corpse. In reality, burned back. Nade damage a little off the mark. Clean burst from the MP9. Third set of feet added to the defense. Apex clean pre-fire, but also takes damage. So there's a little bit to work with. If Brokey were to just rail a Deagle shot, that'd be one thing. But Mezzi seems to have gotten out of dodge. Fake plants once. ZywOo chews through smoke, and with it, a 4v2 comfortable conversion, so it seems. Frozen winning a fight into middle just adds another layer, an extra gun, something more for FaZe to work with as they whittle away the money of Vitality on their 3-0 start.
I mean, the gut-wrenching thing would have been to see FaZe win another pistol, start off really strong. Vitality, they can do well in this map. They've still got to close out on map 3 if we get there. That could be Inferno, excuse me, the great decider. Still potential problems ahead in this one. Again, they're going to be wondering, how have FaZe evolved? And I think the scariest part about playing a team that doesn't play a map much is not knowing how they've evolved, not knowing what mistakes they've learned from. thing is, this is a match where Vitality can just simply play to their own strengths and know they have a strong vertigo. They just have to not fall for the tricks that Kerrigan has been finding.
Honestly, easier said than done, huh?
Yes, it is.
Many have tried.
And that's why FaZe are the Kingslayer here in playoffs. A team that, of course, they won Antwerp. That was also the last time they got to playoffs. Vitality won the last major. Spirit were the #1 team expected to clear this event. On the hard side of the bracket, FaZe have already taken their scalp. And now looking for the reigning major champions.
Again, there's nobody home, close Tetris. We had such a momentum-based start to the first map. See if they can follow through here to the B site again, man. Rain has just been pummeled, bullied over and over. Luckily, defender in position. It's Rops. Frozen gets the edge for man advantage. B site has been taken, but there's no bomb currently in possession for Vitality. So what do? They're gonna go hunting. Flamesy's gonna creep up. Rops doesn't see it coming. Shot to the spine. Bomb needs to be procured. It will be grabbed by Mezzi. He needs to come back, but he's so cautious of that looming threat of a potential FaZe player down in the depths. That is not the case. They've doubled up. Trying to tether nicely. Flames moving forward here, right? All the space he can take forward is all the room Mezzi will have to maybe put that bomb down and possibly clutch it if he has to. Catching Brokey in the open, Flames doesn't bite. Smoke to the right side to keep him locked in. They see that glimpse, that glance over top of construction. Frozen's position is known. He tries to take the fight, he'll get the first. Mezzi, no hands busy there to trade.
That's right, perfect. In time from the young guns here on Vitality. Safe hands as they swat away FaZe. Moments like that are situations where I'm going to give to FaZe most of the time, because even though they've got some young players, they've got players who have built chemistry, whether it's been on this roster or the last, playing together. Frozen and Rops and Brokey. When it was Rops, Brokey, and Twist, that was probably the best trio in mid-round situations that we've ever seen in this game. Rivaling Astralis, rivaling Fnatic. And so it's great to see this come together for Flamesy and Mezzi. And you can see Vitality latch onto the moment.
Can't blame them. After what was Nuke, 13-7 loss, never had footing, never slowed it down. The first half banked on 2 pop-offs from Spinks, that's it. And then not to mention losing the 2v1, allowing Rops to close out that game, to go up map 1. Nah, Vitality have to grasp this chance, this start to Vertigo with both hands. Brokey gives away his position, swings out, sees 4 players, all confirmed. Kerrigan from Elevator dies empty-handed, but there is still a piece in place. Unbeknownst to Vitality, there he is. Frozen from the corner, concerned about another one down beneath, but also given room to work. As he comes up, Apex is gonna catch him. Nicely done.
Everything.
Tucking him down beneath tarp, waiting for the step up, waiting for Vitality to follow through. So what if you have a spanner in the works? This is the 5-0 start.
It is, yeah, it's incredible there from Vitality. So much better. Again, I wish there, I hope there's some video, you know, the talk in between maps, because clearly we've got a different team coming into map 2. And that's something we've always said about Apex, that he is a leader of men. He is not just an IGL. He is not just an unlikely IGL, someone who started as an entry fragger, who had the level of stats that some top 20 players had back in 2018. One of the most unlikely players to transition to this role that we've ever seen in history, to make it work, to be crowned best IGL of 2023.
But I'll say on top of that, even when things started to get a little shaky for Vitality last year, we started to see Apex rule with a bit of an iron fist. Harsh words about his teammates. Clearly distraught in-game, mid-round. But that's what he demands of them.
Yes.
And that's what makes him a leader.
And you would be a joker, you know, you would be some kind of fool if you showed all those emotions but never put up results. But now they know that this captain knows how to get a championship, so they better listen.
Another fast one, another timing here on the B site that has just got Rain against the wall.
call was don't let them think, and they want to get a quick anti-eco so they don't have to burn calories on rounds like this, thinking, playing it slow, respecting their opponents too much. That's what FaZe did to them at the beginning of Nuke. That's the edge that they need to get back to, I think, make themselves believe that if it comes to a third map, that they can finish it there. When we saw FaZe crawl back from Paris, from the LCQ all the way to quarterfinals, played against Heroic, they cited being out of energy by the time that they got there.
Running out of steam.
We've seen almost the same run here from FaZe, except obviously they're looking stronger in playoffs, more energy than ever, playing better CS than we've seen before.
I'll chalk that up to the thought of winning the first CS2 major for Kerrigan to be competing in 3 versions of this game at a top level. Felt like Spinks was always nervous about the possibility of the top ladder control. Good thing he kept his guard up. And it is with a swift shot that Robs goes down. Little pack of players out top mid. They will find him, but still, he's done his job. Getting active, finding 2, and allowing for the B site to be compromised. Flames again is looking to flex. We get that swing out from the MP9, quickly dealt with. The rotator dies right with it. Vitality have pieces in place to keep up pace, to keep up pressure, to keep up this 6-0 lead.
Yeah, they're ready for it. They're ready for it 100%. This is what you absolutely love to see. This time it's not just Spinks. And they vetoed out a map that has been very kind to Flamesy. But he's showing a little bit of range right now. Happy to jump on the construction site that is Vertigo.
Another fast one. Brain's got a chance at a multi. Scott Robs with him. That's the edge for FaZe. Man advantage, but at what cost?
They're they're using aggressive openings to get to very difficult, chaotic mid-round situations where you think FaZe would thrive, but that's actually a good sign of Vitality believing in themselves. They're not looking for the slow 5v5 to get 1 kill. They know they're way better in the default. They want to rock FaZe. Screw their opening game plan.
I mean, it's really the tempo that FaZe Clan set on the T side of their own map pick. Came out of the gate swinging at that A site.
The opening of the round is where FaZe have put most of their work in. That's the preparation, right? The mid-round is where the creativity blossoms, where the team who has more experience can come up with more ideas. This is what Vitality want to foster.
Ooh, Robs, man. Half a dozen frag grenades throughout this half have hit Tetris. Finally, one softens him up. So much so that a Molly's a guaranteed death. Had to swing, no other choice. Brokey without a frag thus far, map 2. Trying to work alongside Kerrigan, but these flashes are disruptive. Oh, hold on. Zywoo almost snapping away too soon. It's a fake plant. And it's a stoic Brokey waiting as he has to get Frozen into position. Flames' presence close green, known to him. And that rumbling of audio, all he needs. Finally, Zywoo give it a chance to clutch. Brokey doesn't go through smoke just yet. Gun back up, and he's able to get off site. Oh, but stuffed in an instant.
Wow. No chance to shoot back. The newest member of FaZe cheats his way to the podium. That's nice.
Let's talk about him. Long has he waited for a chance to rejoin Kerrigan, because he was always in Finn's ear saying, if a spot opens up, it's mine for the taking. And it felt like an inevitability that eventually Frozen would step forward on FaZe.
You know, when it came to the quality of player that you get and the experience of playing with Kerrigan, there's no question that Frozen is an unbelievable guy. You know, when he played on Mouse, he went above and beyond, and he carried on every single map. When it came to replacing Twist specifically, you would think you kind of can see it in the same way you could see Brolin going to Mouse. But there are some role changes that need to take place. But Kerrigan said, we're done integrating him now. Now it's time for results. FaZe have seen finals. Now they want trophies.
Rain again trying to find his groove here, but once more, a lot of players on the other side of this wooden wall. And behind his Molotov, they will start to clamber over. Mezzi right there, catches him off. Slight jiggle out of Rain, and it's a casualty again that can't be sustained inside this B site. Rotators trying to get over, but there is no rush from Vitality. They've got FaZe where they want them. Wounded, worried, down by 5 rounds. Kerrigan tries to stretch out for the M4. Good upgrade.
Wow.
It nets him a kill. As Vitality now look like they do want to follow through. We got a glimpse of what Broken could do in the last round, but this time they do get by. Missed shots again. 1 kill to his name. And a B bomb site that seems to belong to Vitality round after round.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of nades do they have to even get back into this retake? They've got to hope for a terrible mistake here from the CT side, or the T side, excuse me.
A smoke.
It's looking like it's not coming.
Shoulder shots and what was feeling like a save queued up, but now with that kill towards mid, at least they've won the fight on one front. We're looking at Rops with the kit and the smoke, but we've got Flames pressed in. Vitality have to hold. Here it comes. Good clean headshot out of Mezzi. Still the CT's press. Trade strong. Rops able to get the trade back to the CT's favor.
Yeah.
And it's Flamesy in the pocket, burning up a bomb site as Vitality show no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, perfect trade game between him and Mezzi. The ember of Vitality burning. They're fanning him. They're getting him more comfortable in these situations, and he is delivering. The lad who came from Endpoints through OG to get his chance on Vitality. What a contract to nab. Massive shoes to fill in Dupree, who he replaced. As for Vitality, he is the fountain of youth. But in trying to buy more years, you sacrifice a veteran.
And it felt like that sacrifice was costing them at the start. Because one thing we said about Flames back on his OG days was his inability to perform on the big stage,
Yes,
right? Him and
playoffs.
Dexter would tear up groups, put him in the playoffs, and OG disappear.
100%.
You get signed for Vitality, you are no longer afforded that. So this 3K round from Flames, excellence.
Yes, he couldn't have played it better. Apex has got to be proud.
Wild to me that his interview as this tournament was going on is, I need to win a major so I can see it on my HLTV profile. Like that's the trophy,
Yeah.
his big claim.
But knowing Flamesy, like that makes perfect sense.
He means it.
When you go DM against him, he wants you to know. Wow. So there's so many things that have mirrored Nuke in terms of how fast Vitality approached the beginning of the rounds into now the slowdown in the next anti-eco. Kerrigan having to call all these pistoling situations.
Ooh, I was gonna say no pressure, but maybe that's the beauty of an unoccupied bomb site. Flamesy walks half asleep into the Desert Eagle.
Right into the crouch transition. Some more establishing grenades as they go to take over the site.
And what is always this inevitable Spinks mid-play. When he first came into Vitality, let's talk about that. I would say the Lurks top mid Vertigo left so much to be desired.
That underpass on Mirage. He was playing it too slowly. He was so obsessed with keeping his DPR low that he failed to have real impact. And that is the game that all Lurkers have gone through. Even Robs on FaZe Clan has evolved so much in his time.
They're gonna take a little glance at the site. Make Vitality nervous, maybe bring a couple down with bombs, but oh my, flawless as they hold off on the site.
Yeah, you see them playing open off angles, getting their spray downs together. It's all good signs.
The uptick in Spinks' performance on Vertigo is why I find Vitality more and more often are happy to play this map. And if he's gonna put forward a great performance, and even just not in the kills department, but the impact, right? The perfectly timed peeks out mid. Keeping a defense on their toes with the threat of a top mid lurk is so critical, and it's something he does now so well.
I mean, I thought Spinks was a generational talent when he came from Ents. Then when he played on Vitality, to me, I thought I was wrong. I thought he was too inconsistent to be that. But his evolution in the past 2 years has been remarkable. And for me, he was the lurk of the year last year. Him and Rops, even being toe-to-toe is an amazing thing to think about.
Good one here from Frozen.
Ooh.
They're looking, now they're starting to run more risks. Now they're spamming smokes, looking to get up in Vitality's face to try and turn it down a notch, but it costs him.
Yeah. And you know how much Vitality game plan towards the left side of A ramp to punish those short peaks. That's literally what they do all the time.
I feel like I've seen Apex die doing that a million times.
You're gonna have to split some atoms to figure out the solution to that problem. Or pray that Zaiwu has 2 bad maps.
Rain, oh man, completely canceled out. Whether it's frags or fire, the util here for Vitality on B is enough to unravel the defense. And so they are starting to realize the cost of floating Vertigo in this series. It's one thing to catch Spirit off guard with it, to go back and forth in a close affair. OT needed to divide the two, but now Vitality simply cut from a different cloth.
Crazy.
9-1 on this T side.
Unreal to see. Unreal to see after what we watched on Nuke. Amazing setup for what could happen in this matchup. To see if Vitality will win again.
Yeah, all the greatest roads lead to Inferno.
We thought for a minute that it was just in CSGO, but we've seen some unbelievable Inferno finishes recently too. Suddenly, people have started playing it more.
Kerrigan just looking to hang on to the M4, will still be challenged, but he's got it. As long as ZywOo doesn't come hunting. All's good. 3 weapons held on to here by FaZe as they are looking for 3 rounds of a CT side.
Yeah, 3 rounds. There's going to be some egg on the face of Kerrigan if he can't get more out of this map. Win or lose, again, it's his quote that says, if you're going to lose a map, make it close at least. They'll have trouble trying to do that, but it does start still in this half. Amazing how many fast tactics have worked here for Vitality consistently. Almost all rounds have ended B.
Ooh, nice nade. Soften up the mid-play, triple.
They say, get the hell out of there.
Artillery strike back, sandbags, but honestly, Kerrigan hangs on. Funnily enough, it's him and Apex softened up early by the util. Rob's looking for the mid-peak, and the timing could have been T.
And that's with the nade that landed on Apex. He survives that. Perfect accuracy.
Spinks will be happy to swarm around spawn. That's going to keep Brokey in a tough spot because now it's a double peek.
Whoa.
And Spinks is making so much noise because he can. Because Vitality seemingly do no wrong.
Man, they found the gap right there. Was Rob's coming out of connector, and for a second he did have a back turned, right? But it was still being watched. Vitality wanted to come in inconspicuously and just say, let's see if we can get up to heaven and get that lurk frag to the guy who's playing in the back of default. And the connection was almost made for FaZe Clan, but it's just a little too late.
They're going to give them nothing. No chance at a recovery.
Wow.
No rounds to work with in the second half. A very quick and swift reminder to the reality that is the major stage.
That's right. That's the 5 DE airport.
Nice shot from Apex. Almost feels like that's a little revenge for when he gets caught by Frozen back on Nuke. Instead, this time, he snaps over to Elevator and gets his. So, 2 MP9s in the mix for FaZe. Lackluster nades, a continuous issue that is this B ramp, and Mezzy just saw feet crossing, so he is on high alert.
Oh, you know, Mezzy loves a foot or two.
Ready for the peak. Down goes 1, and that continuous stream of bullets indicating he knows there's somebody else, but he eats his teammate's flash, tries to follow through, and that's when Brokey and Robs actually tether excellently, still almost taking everybody out but Spinks. 11 health, hangs on. 2v2 to close it.
Oh.
Frozen, a taste of his own medicine. Kerrigan makes sound as he drops down the ladder, but he's got a bomb. It's Kerrigan versus ZywOo, 2 GOATs for different reasons. And it's a patience game, because this second round is everything.
It's a full standoff. No one's pushing. ZywOo comes to the fight, and he wins it.
And a pop-off, because that is 11. That is a masterclass of a T-side. And a reminder to FaZe that when it comes to Vertigo, you ain't it. You're not those guys.
You're not those guys, pal. My God.
Maybe
this
you
is
can
really,
you know,
really setting up this match. My goodness.
Maybe you can scrape the barrel and get it past a bunch of kids, but when it comes to the reigning major champions, no chance.
It's a perfect contrast between those two teams, right? It's the heroes of today versus the guys who were the heroes in Paris, who still have, who's supposed to be the best player in the world, of course. After the last map, there are questions if he's going to be the best player in the servers. 2 different sort of standards. When I talk about X factor, it's almost Spinks factor when it comes to Vitality. But 11-1 now, we've seen Mezzy have amazing rounds, FlameZ by his side in an entry duo. Spinks timing those lurch to perfection, making FaZe Clan look like they have nothing but flaws.
Give this pistol your all. And whether it goes south or not, you just bank on the fact that Inferno awaits us in the wings. FaZe and comebacks, hand in hand. But my God, this one's desperate. And as the desk said, it's when you start to bank on all the experience in tough spots like this. There is no experience on Vertigo, but there is a 4v2 post plant to at least try to kick off this T-side with. Mezzy and Spinks, nothing to lose. Go for it, gun for it.
Yeah, just looking for the kills at this point. They cannot fight their way back out of this. Spinks alone, V4, normally his happy place. Not today, but for Vitality. How could they screw this up?
Don't ask that question.
How could they screw this up?
They are playing FaZe.
What are the odds that FaZe come back into this game after Vitality looked this good? If we were watching any other team, there wouldn't have been a hope or thought. FaZe Clan, maybe. We'll see. We'll go by the round. They can start a tap. We know they're good for it.
Yeah, one foot in front of the other. Step by step, they'll build. Yeah, he's got it. Every once in a while, huh? Kerrigan just, he's got it. Dealing with these unarmored CTs swiftly. Nice USP kill out of Spinks, gotta give it to him. But that's it, just one. Kerrigan leads the charge up short, no sweat, no stress.
Easy as you'd expect. And it might seem like a small hurdle, but it's an important first step.
Well, you know, there's a lot of teams that try to personify Kerrigan's own words. The score at the end of the map, win or loss, matters. He knows it better than anybody else. And so he will try his damnedest to lead this one back.
And that's a man that hangs on to every thread and pulls as hard as he can. Looking to make magic happen once again. It's MR12 and Vitality are close to winning, but that also means it's an easier comeback here for FaZe. If they want to show up to work today in a suit. Because we saw in that Spirit match, they aren't slumped over.
Already, I think, a sign of Vitality wanting to get frisky, early fight down ramp queued up. On the reload, Mezzy's gonna get challenged, and his support system's missing shots. Luckily, he's here to hold it. It's a kill apiece, it's enough. Oh, hold on, Frozen double. Frozen triple.
Okay.
With that, sight opened. Utility thrown forward, he's got himself a fourth. Blink and you miss it, it's a flash freeze inside of the site and a hope. A lifeline for FaZe by the newcomer, nonetheless.
That's right, versus the newcomers on Vitality. Beautiful there from Frozen. It was a little bit of Vitality on those entries, the same way that they won those rounds. Frozen in the front.
And this is what you're gonna need, because this is what you have to bring to the table if you are going to be a member of the FaZe clan. You need X Factor. You need pistol prowess. You need talent, you need composure.
He's never had a fan base like this either. Frozen started off as a 13-year-old talent, getting Reddit posts made about him as some kind of upcoming prodigy. Very few realize that potential and get to a position like this, on a team like this. 2 series away from winning a major championship. But that comes with the maximum amount of pressure.
Yeah, he knows it.
Yeah, and again.
When you think about how long he has waited as well, I mean, I think he's content with his time back on Maus. I think he's happy to have had Shuhei to work with. But he wanted back in on Kerrigan's camp. Now this round kicks off with one M4.
That was good use of the one gun that they've got.
I expect nothing less from Vitality.
Yeah, and this will be FaZe concerned about exactly how many more are on the map. They also have to play the game of camping the one weapon that's been dropped or getting rid of it if they can safely. And they do go over top.
It's given back to them. Brokey emerges from the B-site trenches, Mezzi laying smoke ahead of him. But that smoke gives a pocket to the T's to play behind. Honestly, that gives a great chance for them to climb over, challenge Orange, even swing. But Spinks is now going to add himself to the defenders. Rain will win his duel, catching the flank, which raises the alarm of the possibility of this stacked B-site. FaZe may have lost their first player, but they've reclaimed the man advantage. And more importantly, they've got a good idea as to the picture, as to the Vitality defense and the positioning. But that M4's still here, and that flash from Flames is great, and Vitality start to charge in. They've taken it down to just Robs and Rain, and the pressure keeps on coming. Vitality, they want this. They want to take the fight right to them, and it's Robs to try and reclaim B. 25 seconds, but they've got bomb and 2 rifles, and positions aside one another. Robs looking for another clutch, looking for another chance, and you know damn well that when given these chances, he can thrive. Spinks on the other side, dodges shots. Bombs in hand, plant is good. Spinks slides in and denies. Vitality take their 12.
Yeah, they got 12. Genuinely wondered how much FaZe could do. But if there's one man that can stand as the last on the round versus Vitality, you'd think it was going to be Robs. But his counterpart, Spinks, takes this one. Again, another good setup to get ZywOo that opening kill to scare FaZe and to bring them forward and influence their decision. A round with 1 gun.
Oh, wow. Okay, again, we've seen flashes of this from Apex. Now he finds what looks like the perfect timing. Frozen turns, not this time. Brokey, close smoke, recovers. Insight, ZywOo thrives for only a moment because Rain hot on the heels of the short push. With CTs amidst them, it is still FaZe to churn through this defense, to get bomb down, and to continue this claim at a comeback.
Yeah, they won't even try the retake. So, wow, what a scrappy round out of FaZe to come forward with that play. We've seen Apex make this smoke. This is a 2021 play that you don't see as much these days with CS2 smokes because they can be blown open. We see some teams favor playing back on the ramp, consistently keeping those smokes broken so that they can fight forward as much as possible. But of course, Apex likes to get his hands dirty. Comes down in between the 2 smokes, finds his timing. He's not doing it all the time, and that's one thing that I want to give Apex massive credit for. He's still that wild animal that we remember from him in his entry fragger days, but he is so much more careful at the same time now. He picks his fights. And that has really done the most for Vitality. So match point music will play from every round out. And when FaZe were in their peak, during Sydney in the winter, almost every game they won was actually a comeback, right? People wonder how many tournaments are they going to close out, but mostly because they were so damn resilient. Didn't matter if you could get a good start versus them, get close to the finish line. FaZe were never concerned by the score at the top. They were finishing matches in the worst circumstances possible. That's why we rate them in a situation like this. It's not over till it's over.
Not only reclaiming rounds now, but getting the first timeout of Vitality too. Next has in Apex's ear. Buy's not perfect. Little half purchase here for Vitality. Still definitely enough to win a round with.
Yeah, they're hedging here. So there's an investment very scary for FaZe to go up against. They should consistently win a round like this, but there are certainly no guarantees. We saw what Vitality did with 1 gun. And this is where the playbook from Vitality, who love to play Vertigo, can go a little bit farther. How prepared are FaZe?
Close crane peek is one of the Deagles. But that ominous threat of the short play. And even run it back 1 round, right? When the fight started to happen along crane, it was Rain who just swept away sight by pushing this exact position. So ZywOo high alert and ready. He's got options to hold for ramp as well. They disassemble, and Brokey opts not to swing. Down he goes. Nasty dig it must have been from Flamesy.
On to Mezzy.
Numbers here for FaZe. Trying to just climb into the B site before support arrives. With map 2 on the line, this retake is already getting queued up. Kerrigan will waste no time. And it's gonna cost him. There goes half his health. And in goes the tease, the lineup potential, frozen, nothing! Vitality all the way through! And so map 2 queued up for the French. And we go Inferno. FaZe may be better on the big stage, but we're talking about the returning major champions. And Inferno decides which of these two legends goes on.
One thing remains the same. Victories with 1xBet.
Level up your gaming space with metal posters from Displate. Hang your displates in seconds. Swap them whenever you like. Get official art from your favorite games on a uniquely designed metal canvas and choose from thousands of posters. Join over 3 million collectors now. Your wall upgrade is here. Shop now at Displate.com.
What's popular, it's loud. And this is ASON's commercial. But ASON spent all the money to make the headphones good, and they got no money left for the commercial. So I'm gonna need you to head to ASON.io. ACEZONE, yo. Code PGL, 50 euros off. We got some headphones. It's now or never.
Yeah, welcome back. We're at 1-1 in this series. And a question for you, panel. How does Carrigan's float taste today?
You had that one, huh?
Yeah, well, we saw a difference, really, between the Spirit game. This is kind of the difference between, okay, we'll give it a chance, we'll roll the dice, and you're going up against masters on the map. Vitality, absolutely right to pick this and call FaZe's bluff.
Definitely, and I think we should start by giving a couple of praises, not only to Apex, but probably also the coaching staff for Vitality, because we've seen a complete 180 in behavior and attitude on the server. I have no idea where the composure from Vitality came from. They were just off the back of an extremely heartbreaking first map, and they showed on Vertigo as if nothing had happened, as if this was the first map of the series. They went through the motions that they needed. They were very much on the money with the early stacks. We see some of the exchanges that happened. I think Apex had great reads reads on where the fight would happen, how many players do you need. They played with time accurately. Messi was stellar. We'll touch on him as well. This is an incredible reaction from Vitality, but I'm right there with you. One day you're a genius with the float, and the other day you're a clown, and this is what happened in this map.
I think it's only fair that we replicate that conversation, right? Because once you open the door into Vertigo, and once you rightfully give Karrigan and FaZe Clan credit for doing that against Team Spirit at such a pivotal moment, you also got to look at how they played against Vitality today. You said, how do they come out and look so composed, look so good? I think FaZe Clan made it incredible easy for them. I don't want to take anything away from Vitality, because I agree with you. The players stepped up. You had Messi showing up. You had great calls coming out from Apex. Composure looked good for Vitality, but FaZe Clan looked like a team who couldn't find their footing whatsoever on Vertigo. A lot of the duels that they were taking, you could just see they were uncomfortable. You see Rain constantly trying to force the issue. Of course, he's the entry frag of the team. He's the guy trying to create the space for the rest of the teammates, but there was no one to follow it up. There was no second guy in. There was no trade frag potential. It looked like a disjointed FaZe Clan. So as much as I want to give credit to Vitality for looking super, super solid right here, I was very disappointed in FaZe Clan. I think they played bad Counter-Strike.
And it's got to be said as well, a little bit of a bounce back for ZywOo. I mean, the ADR is the important stat, really, but not classic, not 100%.
This was better. I would say this was better, and it is encouraging if you're a Vitality fan. If you're thinking that there is a trajectory that's sort of being designated here, you might have hopes for the third map. Some would say what a test it's going to be. I don't really think he was the architect of that. I think he stepped up towards the end. He had a couple of stabilizing situations, but this one, Messi is the one that is deserving of the most praises. If we're gonna give him flowers to Apex for the orchestrating of the strategies, when he sent Messi to open the sides, and I'm mostly talking about the B side, his time to kill was absolutely stellar. The fact that he was so clear on the jiggles, clear on the peaks, he also at some point abused Brokey a couple times. We saw misses. That is something that we have to talk about. But Messi was clear. He was brilliant on this map. That's a couple of examples. Exactly what I'm talking about. He gave us a bunch of these. Clap for Messi.
It's one of the maps where Messi really come into play, I'd say. I think we've seen it before from Vitality. Not a map they play an awful lot, but whenever they do, it does feel like Messi is showing up to it. It's also one of the maps where we thought that they were going to miss Magix the most, right? The position that he was playing in, the anchor roles, etc. I think Messi have been able to come in and replicate some of that consistency in those roles as well, especially on the T side with the opening department towards the B bomb side. Again, as much as I want to give Messi a lot of credit, again, I feel like it was just disjointed.
Don't worry, I'll give the credit, you give the credit. It's all right.
It's all right. We'll work it out. It was almost too easy for Vitality. I'm left with a feeling right now, and I hate to say it out here, but it's been a bit of a boring semifinal in the sense that it hasn't been competitive. It's been two very one-sided maps, two very lopsided maps, and none of the two teams have showed up at the same time, and hopefully we get that on map 3.
Well, we can talk about map 3 now. It's a good little segue there. Thanks, Jacob. I appreciate it. Obviously, Inferno, it's a map that's kind of fallen on hard times of late, but it's always good as a decider, I mean, historically.
So what Vitality have going for them is that they haven't ignored the map. I think a lot of the teams at the highest level have put Inferno in the back of the drawer, you know, where you put your sweaters that you think you're going to use once upon a time in 5 years. A lot of teams did that, not Vitality. I think they kept on the work with Inferno. I think that's a map that they've trialed and tested a couple of times. If we talk about Messi, I don't think he's in a state of grace quite yet. It is a little bit of a complicated situation, but still, there's a bunch of database, there's a bunch of reference games as well for Vitality. We see 6 here, so in terms of the veto, I mean, listen, they have FaZe where they want them to right now. They have them on that Inferno. FaZe haven't played the map since Katowice.
No, but when they play the map, or when they did play the map during Katowice, they were dominating the opposition. Not against the very best teams in the world, and then again, you look at a team FaZe Clan who are yet to lose on the map the past 3 months, and prior to that as well, so they come in with a bit of confidence, but that's a great point that I want to bring up right here. You're in a semi-final, you played a long major so far, you've been there for a couple of weeks, and now it's the first time you pull out Inferno.
I know.
If anything, Vitality have a bit of experience, even a humbling experience against Eternal Fire, where they ended up losing Inferno in a close game where I would argue Major outcalled Apex, so there was a lot to be learned from that one as well. Maybe Karrigan have been in looking at that, you know, trying to replicate some of the same things that they could expose in regards to the Vitality performance in that one. For my money, though, if you're FaZe Clan, you're bringing in a new map that you haven't played at this major at all. It's a big game.
Okay, well, I want to talk about that gamble because obviously we have no idea where Karrigan has, you know, done the prep work, right? He's obviously floated Vertigo. We've talked about that, and that's 1-on-1, okay?
Yes.
Overall. Now coming in on this Inferno that they haven't practiced overall, I can't believe he would have just kind of left it there unless he had something up his sleeve.
I mean, listen, you had to know that this was going to be part of the pool. If FaZe had no intention to remove it, Vitality would never. They would absolutely never remove Inferno. They played it last time they faced. That was a World Final. It came in favor of Vitality. So if you're Karrigan, you know they were waiting for you. In fact, I thought it could have been a pick. I didn't know the float Vertigo was going to happen.
Yeah.
So the prep done has been worked. Now, listen, if we're going to make comparisons, if we're going to draw between Hooksy and Kerrigan, I think if you are Kerrigan right now, you're hoping to pull a Hooksy. That's what you're hoping to pull. I'm going to bring you back to that G2 game on Inferno.
Yes.
Kerrigan's going to try his very best to do just that.
Right.
You can already imagine the Kerrigan versus Apex shock that is about to happen in Banana is like none of them have a break anymore. They're not breaking. They're just deadpanning it, and we're going to have a collision right in Banana.
Yeah, well, Banana's a mess right now. I mean, look, I'm going to just say it. I obviously remember all the different iterations of Inferno. Yeah, exactly. I am old. You have noticed that. And obviously, you know, right now, it just feels like it's more important than it ever has been. Whoever wins there wins the map.
It's always been a big, you know, a big place within the map. It's always been a place on the map that dictates the pace of the game as well. There is something you can do to avoid it too much, and you can just not attest Banana in the beginning of the rounds. I see a lot of teams spending an awful lot of utility in the beginning of the rounds in order to take control over Banana, and there used to be a time where everyone was okay with retaking Banana late into the round. That seems a little bit more complicated nowadays with the new layout of Inferno, let's put it that way. A little bit more tight, a little bit more claustrophobic in that way. So I'm curious to see whether or not the two teams are going to go fight head-to-head for Banana in the beginning of the game, or if any one of them is willing to play a slow-paced T-side where they allow each other to take Banana control, and then we go into the retake scenarios on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you start playing the slow style, then this is where the chess mastermind comes into play, and this is where we really have a Kerrigan versus Apex. At that game, I don't believe the captains are going to be the only ones we have to talk about. I think movement needs to come from within on both teams, right? ZywOo is obviously a name we can mention. His movements on the CT side are going to make or break Vitality. When you talk about m0NESY, you talk about his movement. He's the one trend-setting on Inferno. ZywOo has to have these kind of movements. How do you have that? With game sense, when being in the flow. So you're hoping he carries that over from Vertigo and he can stay activated. We pitched a Rops versus Spinks matchup at the beginning of the pre-show. And ladies and gents, this is all that's happened. This is the UFC. That's the octagon right there. In apps, this is where you're going to have a bunch of these Rops versus Spinks fights happening. Rops is a master at trying to eat map control away. When he's on the CT side, he dares. Sometimes he exaggerates a little bit, overstays his welcome. Whoever gets the best of it or the other is going to create such massive space for his team to use that space. That is going to be a marquee matchup right there on Inferno.
If anything, they lurks on the T side as well. We've seen Spinks do that time and time again for Vitality, always crawling up middle, you know, staying inside apps, and whenever they do an A hit, Spinks will be there lurking around trying to catch someone in rotation. We've seen the same thing from Rops over and over again. He's so good at finding the right balance between being aggressive in apps but also being that lurk guy. You know he's there, right? It's almost like the old get right synonym where you know he's in apps and he's going to be there at some point, he's going to poke out at some point, but what is the timing you strike? What is the timing you actually dare yourself to rotate? I think those two are being put in the same position on the T side, and it's going to be curious to see who's going to boot the better.
I mean, he used to be excellent, and when CS2 came out, I think, again, he was the one that was sort of paving the way on how to play these positions in that new game. But as of today, I think the conversation against Spinks is one that is worth a debate. I think there is a case to be made that Spinks has overtook him a little bit in that role. The production has been higher, so maybe, just maybe, you know, the master has become the teacher or the other way around. I should not try idiom when I'm riled up. That never works out, you know. But this is where I think Spinks might have actually Rob's number figured out in that position.
No, and look, I want to say I think Spinks at this tournament has just been the standout for Vitality. He's been so good.
Sure.
And, you know, he is a player that is really starting to deliver consistently to a high level. But here's someone we haven't talked about over on FaZe, Frozen. We've just ignored this kid the entire time. Obviously, coming in for Twists, I think he's had lots of impact. And, you know, seeing him getting involved with the interviews the other day and everything, really betting into FaZe well. And I think he's had some, you know, monster performances. When they picked him up, I was like, yes, that's the one. Obviously, Carrigan worked with him all the way back in Mouse Sports, helped bring him through, teach him the game, teach him the ropes, and look at the performances we've got here from this guy.
Well, I mean, he did warm up a little bit on Vertigo, had a couple of nice rounds, you know. Was it a 4-kill coming in towards the B-bomb side where he absolutely shredded up their position. In that regard, for Frozen, historically speaking, when he was in Mouse Sports, I think Inferno was his favorite map. It was a map he would always perform on. It was a map that he felt very comfortable on. So obviously, you would like to see a lot from Frozen. For my money, though, a guy that we did speak about coming into the game that have overachieved a little bit in the tournament, but we haven't seen today is Brokey, especially when it comes to Inferno. He has been playing a fantastic tournament up until this point. He's been a little bit missing. You talked about some AWP shots that were missing on Vertigo as well. Yes, but on Inferno, this close combat AWP style that we tried to describe going into the game, this is the map where he does it the best. This is the map where you've seen countless of Brokey clutches on that big bomb side. When there's smokes around him, there's flashes around him. He probably have more no-scope scope kills than any player out there with the AWP on a map like Inferno as well. So for the man on the screen right here, as said, had a fantastic tournament so far. He needs to show up now if they want to be a win condition for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, and I think he thrives in the game plan of Carrigan. Right? I think Inferno currently is a map where on the CT side, if you're passive and you're going to play standard, it's very claustrophobic. It is extremely uncomfortable. Being on that B side, seeing the execute coming in, that's almost it. You're just counting your blessing at that point. So Carrigan has multitudes of rounds where he decides to have the fight earlier, before. Hell, even in down middle. I guarantee you we're going to see deep smokes coming in. We're going to see some fights that are a little bit unfamiliar. And this is where Brokey is supposed to shine. You tell him he's comfortable in chaos, Carrigan manufactured that chaos for you on Inferno. He gives him situations where the book throws or ripples out the window, you get a little bit messy, a bit muddy. This is where Brokey shines. So he has to have a bounce back from map 2 because, yeah, I haven't been as harsh on him as I have on Zai. Well, that's fair, I don't have the same connection, but he was missing on the map 2. That's also a fact.
He was missing. I think the key difference is, you know, Brokey's shown up. I mean, this might be, depending on how this series goes and how the tournament goes, this might be one of his, like, career highlights. I mean, you know, coming into today, he was the 3rd highest ranked player at the tournament, right up there, rubbing shoulders with Donk, who obviously isn't here anymore. Hasn't been a great tournament for Phenoms, if we're honest about it, right? And then obviously Munacy, who's kind of flying the flag, so to speak, for the Phenoms. You know, he's playing really well. Brokey, I've been critical of, you know. He has been somebody that, for me, hasn't been great. But you can see now in real time, these are the tournament leaders. These are how things are starting to shift.
He would have probably been there prior to the map number 2.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I think he was there.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I was saying. You know, the impact of him not showing up there has kind of knocked him down the charts a little bit.
He was having the best tournament, statistically speaking, he's had in FaZe in a very long time, you know, especially in CS2 as well, coming into this game. We said it, he's been a little bit missing, but I think, as you said, you know, the game haven't really been that competitive. It's been a bit of a weird one. We haven't seen much AWP action. It's been more about the rifles, more about the fast-paced Counter-Strike. I think Inferno, the way it's structured right now on the map, it does invite for both teams to sometimes slow down the pace. And I think when we get into nitty-gritty rounds, when we get into 2v2s, ugly 3v3s, that's when Brokey is coming alive. He's not the Munacy of the world. He's not going out there dictating the game or trying to put down the offense from the get-go. He's more so a clutch AWP player, more so a guy who thrives in the chaos whenever an execute is coming at him. I think Inferno and the way that FaZe Clan will approach this game, as you said, Matthew, it suits Brokey much, much better.
Yeah, listen, we're moving on to map 3 of the semi-final of the first CS2 majors. I think it's only apt we talk a little bit about the psychology of the teams here. And there is a point, I'm going to dare to do it a little bit. There is a question that I have in the back of my mind. If you're Carrigan now, how do you live with this floating vertigo and the massacre that just happened now moving on to map 3? I think this, obviously, it's not his responsibility only. It's a game plan that has been approved by the team and they went in this together. But you have to be very strong to leave that behind. It could have been a different map. It could have been more competitive. You kind of fumbled it a little bit and now you're moving on to an Inferno for vitality. I would love to have a temperature check very quickly on how they behave. Listen, they're masters of the big stage. I know that. But they're also humans.
If there's any team out there I would feel relatively comfortable that would be able to shake off such an experience, it would be the FaZe Clan. You're not wrong saying it. It can be something laying in the back of your mind. You were looking at a fantastic performance on Nuke. You were nowhere to be found on Vertigo, so maybe you're thinking we could have closed this out 2-0 in a different fashion or in a different veto. However, you're coming into Inferno, as I said, a map you haven't lost the past 3 months, a map that you feel relatively comfortable on, and you're going up against Vitality, a team that you played 2 grand finals against in recent times. So both of these lineups right now are under a lot of pressure. If anything, Carrigan showed me against Team Spirit that despite everything pointing in the direction of Team Spirit, having won 5 maps in a row, having won a couple of series in a row, took them down at IM Katowice without even putting up a fight, Carrigan and FaZe Clan have found a new level in this playoff. So if Vitality want to beat them right here, they have to take a step up. They have to continue what we've seen so far in this playoff. But I hope we get a competitive map now. First 2 has been a little bit boring.
If I am in the huddle there, if I'm Apex, here's what I'm saying to the guys. We've got their number. We've had their number almost every time we played them. This is a really one-sided rivalry. We meet these guys all the time. And Carrigan might be a mastermind, but I know how to beat him. And that confidence compared to the pressure, you know, for that Carrigan, all that love, all that adoration.
Right.
You know, I do wonder. I think this is going to be a banger. I think this is going to bring the series to
with all
life.
the adoration that is in this room, there's also a lot of people you can disappoint, Richard. And that's what comes with it. It's the price of the expectation. Thousands and thousands of people here waiting for you to qualify, looking at you fail if that were to happen. That is obviously going to play a role. I think both leaders at this stage probably mentally a little bit tired. This is extremely cumbersome, these maps. We're on map 3 coming in. What you need as well is a couple of free entry. And where is my man Flames at? We haven't even said his name the entire desk. We hyped him up prior to this matchup saying he delivered so many openings. He made the game lighter and easier on Apex because you don't have to go deep into your thoughts figuring out late rounds. No, he's got the entries. We need to see Flames deliver a couple of those to make life easier for his captain. Pour son capitaine.
Indeed, formidable. Right, it's great working with you guys. You make it easy. Now we have to go over to other people that make it look easy. The excellent Scrawny and Launders.
Thanks so much, boys. And that's it. The stage is set. 2 championship level teams on the best decider map in history, Inferno.
Yeah, damn right. Things getting narrow between the two. 1 map left. 2 great teams, both that could compete in grand finals, but only a spot for one of the 2. And that's where things get a little scary because we have to say farewell to one of them. Inevitably, somebody falls here on Inferno at the end of this road.
That's right. We don't know what's going to happen, but we do know it's going to be big. So come on, Copenhagen. Give it all you've got. Inferno could be everything. So many storied series end on this map. Now in CS2, we'll see if there's continuity.
Warning, that's all it is. A little warning. Presence here, nice shot.
Ooh.
Clean one from Mezzi, kicks it off. Pressure's hot though. We've got 2 Molotovs in sight. We've got ZywOo and Mezzi executing them all. Oh, it's a full house. It's a B site stacked to the brim with talent. Mezzi and ZywOo shut it down quick.
Damn, they shut it down sharp, man. That was real nice from Mezzi in a very important moment. Here are those shots again. Let's relive it. P2K coming in, 180 flick on a dime. Beautiful with ZywOo. Vitality start off strong. Hot start on Nuke for FaZe Clan. Hot start from Vitality on Vertigo. And now 12 rounds away, Vitality. That's what they're telling themselves. Get the anti-eco, get the machine going. Thing is, I feel like I have more questions about the players on Vitality than I do the players on FaZe. Yes, we saw a great map out of Vitality, but I don't want to see Mezzi and Flamesy carrying even Spinks over top of ZywOo. It would feel wrong if somehow they were able to pull this series out without him.
If he wants to contest with the greats, it's a hell of a map to do it. The time is nigh. ZywOo, here's them rumbling forward. That's all good. Bomb dropped at his feet. Clean response from Rain. It's bomb reacquired, MP9 picked up, and a little bit of map control for FaZe to just keep Vitality on their toes. The threat of an instant short hit, well, that could have been enough to keep Mezzi back, but instead he's gonna get curious. Oh, he's gonna get frisky. Closer, he will go to the Tech 9s that all sit in place. A sea of FaZe's players ready to respond. And that picked up MP9 could be the golden ticket to just overwhelm this site. We have Apex on a P2000. What has happened to his gun?
Oh.
Spinks comes through.
What's happening? But
the pistol at the very least will get the back of the head turned, but I mean, they've got such an edge. He hangs on for dear life. The assistance comes out from Flamesy. The deagle in the hands of Brokey. It's a reload needed in a high octane spot. Apex, what is that?
I have no idea. I don't think he cares anymore. He's happy he got an upgrade. They can move on. A P2K inside a pit. A moment like that wouldn't be scary in a pug, a scrim, matchmaking game, even a group stage game, whatever. We're here in major semifinals.
On a decider map,
On a decider map, no less. Yeah, like every mistake will be amplified. These are all these rounds obviously will be remembered more than any others that happened in this series, but they survive.
And not only all that context, but with FaZe barreling towards your A bomb site, picking up guns as they come running in, swinging with the M4s. It's nice to see a rifle in the hands of the Capitan and a nade that goes down deep. It's an easy second. Making sure to keep FaZe at a good distance. Little peek out from Boiler, gets Robson opening. ZywOo dead, but that's fine. There's layers here for Vitality.
Oh, Mezzi's attacking on 3 prongs right now. He's got balcony. He'll be rotating around through Arch. He's been very fluid. He was over in the B site. Kerrigan alone. And you know, ironically, this might be a map where ZywOo does well because he doesn't have the op. He hasn't been doing that a lot, and Inferno was one of the first maps where you saw him drop it almost completely for entire games. CT side, of course, it's more surprising. T side, you almost never see it, so there's actually some comfort there, I think, for someone like him who it feels like is trying to shed that skin in CS2. I can't remember what event it was, but there was a quote from him saying, you've got to find new ways to play. You know, whether he meant with the op or without it, he has looked for them.
One thing we have yet to mention all series long, the head-to-head between Vitality and FaZe is so incredibly skewed. And within that, as of late, the grand finals they have played against each other in the past, lopsided to Vitality's favor.
Oh, and he does get it.
When FaZe put forth a new flavor back on Nuke, we think to ourselves, here we go, the curse is broken. It's on home turf that Kerrigan will get past this hurdle that is Apex. But after Vertigo's statement, after this 3-round T-side start, and after a 5v4 has been queued up in the first gun round, the question remains if FaZe and if Kerrigan can truly get one over Apex and his men.
Apex loses his primary soldier here to take over banana control. It'll get used against him. FaZe know what to do with the space. We still have Bracket's presence in for Vitality. Questions as to where that bomb will go. But as you can see, congregation of the T's now.
Oh, okay, Rain.
Oh, at 40 seconds, they go for the re-clear on mid. They don't see anything. All the CTs now attracted.
Nice. Opens up the rotate. Apex dodging the flash. Going through it with support. Whoa! Gets himself the double. Almost the third. Recovered. Frozen in. Trading places. And reopening the possibility of a B-site collapse. But it is Mezzi to silently encroach, and he already gets through smoke. Now he's got the vision, but what he doesn't have is anybody to help him. Tree is occupied. Frozen makes the play.
Wow.
And that's what they're looking for. 4K from Frozen, the newest piece of FaZe puts up.
Absolutely. That is the kind of play you would get from Twist in a spot like that. Nowhere to go, everywhere to aim, and locking down 3 kills. Frozen with the perfect spray transfer on top of the opener and the closer in this round. All to deny this perfect flash transposition from ZywOo to Apex on what felt like the ideal timing.
And Apex nearly getting that third. Player close on smoke, takes a ton of damage. Frozen upends it in FaZe. That's what we want, right? For the sake of this head-to-head.
Yeah.
For the glory and the greatness.
They used ZywOo's play on Banana with Frozen as the tip of the spear. This time, pairing with a perfect flash, taking out Flamesy. And they need to deal with his confidence because he will be coming forward on Banana constantly.
One thing we really have yet to see in this series is a strong back and forth. Slowly but surely, the makings of an excellent map 3. Thank goodness Inferno makes a little comeback. Even at the start of the major, we weren't talking about this map.
You know, a match like this quells any questions I have personally about Mezzi in pressured situations. I mean, of course, lifting trophies, but still, if you've been watching every single game, you do see moments where you could use a little bit more from him.
Sure.
And of course, the big games are what it's all about when you're playing for a team like Vitality, but here, on this big stage, the way he started out this map, or the way that he looked on Vertigo, I mean, you were just seeing him grow and prosper. And he was somebody who, when Henry had picked him up to join Cloud9, had the best reviews you could ask for. Somebody who knew every nade, who was great to play with, who brought no ego to the team, and was incredibly malleable. And at that level, could be a star player. Coming into Vitality, he knows he's not going to be, but he still needs to fit in and be a star in his role.
I like Maniac's take back on the desk before the game went live, saying that Apex is maybe putting him in a position where he has to take up responsibilities, do interviews, step forth, not just taking a backseat at the table.
Apex has dealt with so many soldiers in his life. He played with Masuda, who he said was somebody who was very good at sort of following instruction, but never would take the liberties and have the autonomy to make plays happen for himself and for the team. And that's sort of what he wants. You know, when he talks, whenever we hear Apex talk about one of his, in case you were wondering.
I haven't seen this strat before.
Yeah, this is new. The highest level Counter-Strike only comes out here on the major stage. But whenever we've heard Apex talk about his teammates, it's always been in that context of how much can they do for us and how much can we set them up to do that or feel like they can take those risks. And I think in the past sometimes he's been let down, or at least feels that way. Even being as honest to say to ZywOo, you know, during a tough spot at a major, and I can't remember which one it was, but to say, without you, we can't do this. Simply put, you are the player we need. And whether or not it was that line that worked perfectly, well, Vitality obviously made a run off of that. Attack pause here for Vitality. And yes, ZywOo will be opping. And again, you're not always going to see this. So early on in the half, buying it for himself, not even taking it from his opponents, because you're not going to see that as often from the T side, even if it's FaZe. That's what you want to see from ZywOo, man. You want to see him on the op as much as possible. He's cursed with a gift of greatness. You need to give him the best gun and he needs to deliver with it.
He'll try hit right here, right now, but met by pressure. Ooh, through smoke, huh? Oh, not this time, Frozen.
It was a handoff. ZywOo with a warning shot.
Ton of damage, though. God damn. Look at the HP for the 3 CTs that are.
Wait, what? He got both?
What kind of snap did that have to be? Oh, cue it up. Stick it on the highlight reel, because that looked like it had to have been a teammate.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker. Wow. That was nice. Off the porch. 2K opens up the round. It's literally the kill that makes the round right there. All rotations are stopped. ZywOo gets in a much better spot if he doesn't get that second kill. It has to be to the dome instantly from Brokey on his off weapon.
Foot in the door, folks. FaZe convert. Extended pause, fast pace, right into it. And that's with, remember, man disadvantage. And it's not as though they took over the players who had low health. That was just barreling towards brackets, swarming into the A site, and I'm sure we're about to see it. Something phenomenal from Brokey.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, that's something that where Vitality have a great round otherwise. It looks perfect. They have the exact reaction to FaZe going quickly up bracket after taking space on Banana.
So what was it?
That's what FaZe needed. We could definitely get to the end of this game. 24 rounds, overtime, second overtime. It's Inferno. Every clutch is going to add up. Every spray transfer too.
They're going to keep things active. Flamesy, one of the... Oh, right into it. That's what we need, right? If you're working with lesser pieces, get them active.
ZywOo or Zeus, he was in the clouds for that one.
It's Flamesy on one half, ZywOo on the other, and instant transition onto Arch side as well. But at the same time that he departs, in those mere seconds that there are not eyes on mid, Rain has slipped forward. Now he hears that departure.
Actually, this is massive.
He heard them ran, and Mezzi's just got the pistol. Rain! He slips into the A site with perfect timing. And that is audio offered by ZywOo. Smoke grenade bounces on Moto. They're going to emphasize a fast, short hit. And ZywOo comes through, lands his shot, but dies. Brokey's AK looking sharp, Spinks. It's just the pistol. What can you really ask of it?
Time
Flamesy started it, and he's not going to be able to end it. Apex into the bomb side down. FaZe tie early.
Uh-oh, that's a lot of magic coming out of FaZe. That's a lot of X Factor. A lot of options there, a lot of moments where Vitality could have won. Any one extra kill in that situation, you don't want to overanalyze that spot. That comes down to the frags. Rain should have died 3 times over. And ZywOo did damage through the box, but no kill.
Good reaction time out of Rain.
Oh yeah.
Good fake from Brokey, gets hands on gun. Secures that third one for this FaZe T side. But that was, again, lesser weapons.
The last time it felt like FaZe could not beat Vitality in a grand final. They played on Inferno. It was Kerrigan to go for what looked like haphazard arch wraps over and over again. He was pushing through smokes to try to catch ZywOo off. ZywOo was obviously in perfect form, and even though he got a couple of rounds that way, Vitality ended up winning the game and learning from their mistakes quickly. We are still seeing moments like that now with this drop back control, with Rain trying to peek into Arch on early timings. That's something that's special that FaZe do on this map versus Vitality exclusively.
Again, we get the triple bracket set up. Again, we're going to get the B-site players leaning back. And those early smokes took control of Banana with ease, right? We've seen fights queued up. We've seen Frozen fall and fire. This time, FaZe don't have to pay much for control of Banana. An essential piece of this map to go barreling into the B play with more util over top. Nade to pop the smoke as the reload comes out from Apex. This is not ideal. Now they've been relegated into the back of the site. The crossfire's been denied, but the flank is fast. The trade is quick. The box is occupied, and it catches them off. Flames, great coverage, but there's the difference. There's the FaZe clan. And yet here comes Mezzy. A flash attempt denied. It's gonna take more than that. A nade destined for Brokey to soften him up, and half his health is gone. He's got a smoke still to play with. And at the moment, he's got these 2Ts sectioned off. Does he use his smoke to block Kerrigan like Coffin was just obscured? Or he decides to go forward, but he steps into the water. Audio made, he gets close. What? It's a nice clean headshot. King Mezzy looking for the clutch, onto the bomb. Kerrigan goes out, sprays away. Mezzy, oh, it's so long. It's a 10-second stick, and he's not gonna get it over this line.
Kerrigan had to use everything in the kitchen sink, but he had the time to do it. No defuse kit means no round one. Another unbelievable moment that leans the way of FaZe. That was a great show of power, though. That was something, again, that's been impressive about Mezzy. It was a great attempt, but now it's FaZe in the lead. If you could explain how FaZe did this, you could explain their whole careers. That's the deal. You go up against FaZe, you got to be ready for this round, these kinds of rounds.
Oh, okay. Apex is.
Maybe bring some of your own.
Keeps it clean with the P250. Pistols in all possible pockets. Props with helping hands in apps, but they do forego control of it.
This is one of the most terrifying and unnerving situations for a T team, to go down 5v4 versus pistols on a map where you could win 5v5. Picking the site can be picking the site blind. They don't even have the ability to scout safely. They don't know what crevices the CTs have shoved themselves into, where they're finding evidence of the attack coming forward. But still, the time bleeds down and a decision must be made.
Yeah, but that decision could lead them into some choppy waters. ZywOo with a scout. We want that X factor. We demand it of him. Big conversations with his name in it all the time. And yet on the big stage, it just feels off. And right now, they're gonna have to maybe press in through smoke with pistols again in the right positions. Can they support ZywOo? No. Kerrigan, 2 backs turned, made easy. Desert Eagle here from Flamesy, just off the mark, but only Kerrigan left. Not enough. Pistols in all possible pockets. seconds.
Wow, they locked off the back exit, came down to 40 seconds, knew it was coming into the B site, put everyone in a good position. And even though FaZe thought they were getting out of another tight spot, more Vitality players showed up and they realized what they were doing was obvious. Vitality knew the whole time, and they show us an X Factor round back to keep this game as competitive as possible. Winner of this map goes to Grand Finals. And that thought creeps into your mind more when you're in the lead than when you're losing.
All starts with the P250. Inside of the site now, Apex dies with no second kill. It's this Flamesy Desert Eagle. Boom! Just like that, Kerrigan, it's a gut punch that just knocks it over. And playing on the skinny pillar, ZywOo nicely done from backside with the scout, also throws one in the mix.
And Flamesy shows a lot of confidence playing B. He's played it his whole career.
Brokey going combat mode. Oh, it's fast.
That's a bit of ZywOo once again. They're using his own plays against him. Quick one from Brokey.
Vitality show us a flash of FaZe winning in the force in the round prior, but Brokey comes right at it. Apex from P250 entry into what was Mantis advantage.
He's clever and creative and knows all the nuances. Flamesy brings this back a little bit. What we've seen in these moments is immediately FaZe seeking out different map control, going for top brackets quickly. And they're looking to elicit a reaction here. But we've got Mezzi on his trusted balcony. Usual spots from both squads.
It's a dangerous game right now on the B site.
Oh, is there a gap that Kerrigan can find with the way that Flamesy rotates? That's the question I think he's asking himself.
I dare you. Oh! Through the smoke with no bomb, but no problem. It's gonna go sprinting down middle. Robs is here to keep the rotation off the heels of Brokey with the bomb.
He could see him in his mind's eye. Punish the fallback.
Who other than Kerrigan to take it into his own hands, to slip forward into what was a great recovery out of Flamesy just seconds sooner.
Wow.
And with that, he cues up the 5v4 lead.
Yeah. He never fails to impress in moments like that. He could have lost, but FaZe could have lost a round if he didn't make a move like that.
I just think Kerrigan is so good at understanding risk. Yes, you could have walked through that smoke. Yes, you could have died straight up to Flamesy. But the rest of the team has abs control, the bomb in possession, and is ready to hit A.
Absolutely. And when it comes to nerves, Kerrigan proved at Antwerp in the Grand Finals on Inferno, where he quashed them completely. You know, where he showed he could play his best until the very end. And he started off this game slow, but he's back to it. I think it was 0-4, now 6-6.
A man of the people.
That's right.
There's no denying, Kerrigan plays games.
He was winking directly at me. That's how we all feel.
Brokey, that's super quick entry, already with a smoke on the fallback too. The same smoke Frozen gets caught out in, but that's the kill that reopens the round.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. Kerrigan killing Flamesy puts FaZe in the lead.
Yeah, that was both teams disguising their intentions. Flamesy finding a piece, but Kerrigan getting the last word. You can make 10 right moves in a row. One mistake and the round is over.
Spinks just going for a nibble. Doesn't want to take the chance, and that doesn't just pull him back, but the second apartment's players too. So even just any presence inside apps seems like Vitality don't want to run the risk.
They have been extremely timid here. Now we can see the conditioning coming in on the map. But Vitality have done a good job of not actually responding to it. They are sticking to their guns on these setups.
Ooh, good. Oh, no, never mind. Goes deeper. So Spinks can hang on for now. ZywOo's got eyes from above. Dodging flashes. First kills to the CT's Rain. Can't recover both. Support here for the defense, both sides of brackets.
But it activates the attack. Flamesy up to the plate.
Again, he will be tested. Again, he could hold his nerve, or he could be the reason this B site falls to the feet of FaZe. That Opper's coming hunting, and Frozen comes out from smoke. Flamesy gets the glance.
Oh.
Frozen gets the headshot. Nice spam out of the smoke. Brokey, there's the warning shot, but it's also an invitation. Apex over top. Stuffs them back inside the coffins, and we go tied 5-all.
That's again, they tried to go for the backers control. I think it's Kerrigan expecting to get this space back at this point in the round, trying to condition Vitality. Apex not responding, playing aggressively in brackets. Perfect setup to deny any trades versus what they were trying to do. Get in and out, clear out 2 Ts, clear out 2 CTs, get back to their B site attack. Vitality were able to whiff punish in that setup. And even though it could have come close to the B site, they had so much material left over, they could take some risks, chasing down Brokey inside the site, denying a plant. FaZe now left with no funds.
Again, they want this fight, huh? You're not going to find anybody tucked in corners. Total forfeiture of Banana this round out of FaZe. And we just saw a rock-solid defense on the brackets control out of Vitality. So if you think getting funneled into this A site is going to be your solution, there could very well be problems ahead.
It is, yes. But when we see what's taking place.
Galil in the middle of the pack. Excellent flashbang. ZywOo's nade finds him. That was a critical juncture. Spinks empty-handed falls. And they have to ask themselves, do we have enough to force this retake, or have FaZe done it again?
It's too much of an investment, the op, right? How can they even mobilize it in the situation? There's no Molly for inside the site.
That's it?
They will leave.
That's all?
FaZe with a perfect call to meet a perfect setup from the last round of Vitality. That top bracket control on the rifle round was spectacular, but met by FaZe, who find an opportunity to jump out halls when there's no pit players.
We've talked about ZywOo's absence and Flamesy being on at times, but he who picked up all the slack has been Spinks.
Yes, and Spinks was the player deciding to play retake on Arch. Had to get 2 frags, couldn't get a single one. They get a haul safely, and again, that comes down to the call, right? They were anticipating a heavy brackets presence. If there's a heavy brackets presence, you don't have 6 players. You can't just be playing pit and bracket at the same time. So that's a good one from Kerrigan to answer back. This is definitely a battle of the minds right now, and it's hard to tell who's winning. Scoreline will dictate the narrative. A second timeout called here for Vitality. As we wade now into waters unknown, what is the next move?
So hard to get a read as to what will work or what won't, because it feels like both bomb sites have been successfully defended and taken over.
100%. We've seen it all.
And I think this really screams the depth that Inferno has for both these teams, in contrast to what we got back on Vertigo, where FaZe looks so lopsided.
And this flash, obviously. No chance to fight back for Mezzy.
And unfortunately, that's the crack in the A defense. That's Spinks showing shakiness as he sits 3-7 in a critical moment of this series, in the biggest moment of Vitality's major.
Yeah, it must be said. You can have a great map 1, but when you get to map 3, you got to be every bit as good.
Final round of a T side you know FaZe can be proud of.
And this is one that anything can go. I don't know what's a bad idea in this situation. It's just going to come down to what gamble does he think that Apex took in terms of how they're stacking up. You know, they don't play vanilla setups where they play 1 on every choke point and hold.
This time it's an entirely absent Arch side. It's been a real consistency in having CTs on top of this porch.
But this can counter some of the default control because you can see over top of an Arch smoke in case there is going to be a lurk. Looks like they go back to draw on some new grenades as we pass the minute mark. A slow burn on this round. FaZe trying to build the pressure.
Rain sensing this presence. If anybody knows wallbangs and lineups, it's gotta be Rain. King of the cave on Ancient. Here's that util pressure that's gonna keep the CTs looking towards mid. Mezzi with the first one, but it's all about the setup of Spinks.
Oh!
Empty-handed again.
The perfect pre-aim.
Apex at that. Clotheslines rain on the approach. Second kill could be had. Oh, and sure enough, he does enough. 2 kills for him, 2 up for FaZe. And 2 stand on the other side. Flames and ZywOo demanded of them this retake.
They'll have to go for it, and they might need to win it.
Right now, they are working with a kit on ZywOo, but that means the Opper's hands could be busy. And Robs is going to take an angle that could very well catch them off. There's a little bit of distance between the CTs. Flamesy, first contact dead. And we've got ZywOo with no trade. We've got FaZe with no problems, because a 7-round T-side is nothing to scoff at.
That's right, that's right. A wax stamp on the round here from Robs once again at the end of a half. One of these teams going to grand finals. And both proving they deserve to be there. This game is shaping up to be as close as it can get. And thank you so much, Copenhagen, for being with us.
Clearing of top porch, very nicely done. You think maybe that Spinks setup is what gets him in with a kill, but back-to-back empty-handed moments there for Spinks. Back-to-back feels like too much.
Oh, we got the gears turning here for Vitality. There have been some investments. We don't know how light FaZe go into this second pistol.
Utility for Apex, smoke additionally. A lot of util here for this T side. Some kind of execute clearly getting set up in this one.
Big time. Let's see if they set up, and there's almost no reason to not sort of spend at least some portion of the time looking for flanks, because the map control is actually easy to come by time-wise. But it also allows for openings from the CTs who are getting frisky.
Kerrigan, this is such a committed position. He's not getting out of here now.
It can be all or nothing.
He is so committed. He is all in on it. Back turn to him. Crossfire's there, and now he gets out. Oh, with the flashbang. It interrupts them. It puts Frozen in a spot to try and take another, but nope. Smoke there, all is good. They've contained control of Banana with a double man advantage. All that utility, all of that execute, everything Vitality wanted to throw in this pistol, and now it is down to a double molly, 1 flash. But isn't that the perfect solution for what this CT side is holding on to?
Comes down to where they land.
And looky.
Oh.
Apex may be off the mark, but the second one lands on top of them. It gets them to move, but it also forces them into the fight. And if Frozen's hitting hard like this, no problem. A slaughter on the top of Banana yet again, and a FaZe that shows no sign of slowing down.
What FaZe showed us in quarters was unbelievable. And again, they're here looking for round 2. Vitality powered up after destroying Cloud9 in the most one-sided quarter that we've seen. And after Vertigo, you thought, okay, maybe they just had to shake the nerves off on map 1. They're back to it, but look at FaZe in the lead.
It's a beautiful thing to see. Frozen and Kerrigan working in tandem after years of being apart, waiting for his call-up and being put in a bomb site with the leader he believes in more than anybody else. And that confidence is going to start to spill over as there is so little here for Vitality to offer.
Right now, there are no superheroes on Vitality. No one is wearing a cape. No one is doing what Spinks brought to Vitality on Nuke.
ZywOo's got kills, but it's not enough. It is not world class. It is not game defining. Rain, easy does it. Not gonna get anything going here towards brackets. It's a drive-by Glock frag, but it's all false hope here for Vitality.
Wow.
FaZe are simply 4 rounds from grand finals.
Yeah. The pieces are falling into place. They might be able to hit cruise control soon. That would be Vitality's worst nightmare. We've seen great players crumble on this stage in quarters already. It was surprising every time it happened, whether it was the Spirit players, the Cloud9 players, whoever. Vitality would be the most surprising after surviving that test initially. But at what point won't we be surprised? Don't let FaZe in playoffs.
Guns up to try and make a difference, but Mezzi already shattered. 41 HP off of the frag. And a flashbang here to set up Kerrigan. Now he is feeling it. And he will take over control, and with that, decide what's next. Fast rush! We've got T's barreling up short side. A sudden test of the A defense from FaZe.
Yeah, but
they don't panic.
Yeah, Apex is just so far ahead of everything in the moment, but he gets his kill.
That's why.
That's key.
Taking it into his own hands. Oh, but frozen right before smoke pops. Sends one through, and Brokey could slip in between the two that's left of Vitality. ZywOo cut down.
He can hear him. The echo of the footsteps inside of Hall. Spinks now needs this.
He's
1-on-3. They know where he is.
He's lucky that bomb fell down on top of him. CT's molly themselves and then put it out. He sees the one slip, but he's blind. FaZe may lose their bomb site, but it doesn't feel like they're going to lose this semifinals.
It's just too perfect from FaZe Clan. It might be too much to bear.
I like the tempo. I like the pace. It's a risk from Apex. He takes it into his own hands, but he did deliver. ZywOo had to get the opening to cross.
That was Apex's X-Factor kill. Where was ZywOo's? You know, where was it in that moment when he pre-aimed Brokey knowing that he would be held? Where's that first bullet headshot that you need from him? FaZe have got those in spades. Moments coming out of Apex, who is now at the top of the board.
Their last tack.
One last chance to talk. They're basically in a position to try to fend off overtime at best.
To be in that team speak right now?
Oh, it might be quiet.
With Apex? I don't think so.
True.
He's got to be fierce with his leadership. He's got to fire up these players. We know what Spinks is capable of, but right now we're getting nothing from him. 3 kills deep, 15 rounds into map 3.
He's meant to be the electronic to ZywOo Simple.
And we start to see more and more confident moves coming out of the CT's. Pressure from FaZe as they have placed Rain in an excellent jackknife position. If they walk up here, he's going to catch him. Mezzi had turned and dead. And Rain running for the escape, but Spinks will respond. Finally, it's something. There's also an opening. A chance to wrap around this A site to put pressure onto Rops, who's just able to get into the pit. Brokey caught, no support, unless Kerrigan has to come in. It is a clean sweep.
Yeah, that's a full court punish here from Vitality. One they needed, 4 alive, as they win the full rifle.
It's an answer.
It is. And it's not small either. FaZe still don't have tons of money. They'll have another buy, but...
And a parallel between the round prior with Apex getting aggressive on short. This was a fast transition from Vitality into that A hit.
Off the tack as well.
So tempo on A is now the red flag we raise for FaZe.
But you don't win a game on half the map, especially not on a comeback of this size. If they had to trip over the finish line and only needed 2 or 3 rounds, they could dress up this play differently and do it over and over again, but being this far away means Apex is going to show us a deep playbook or fail trying. There is no way he's going to be able to get away with that every single time. Got to be so impressed with Frozen and his integration, and of course you want to give credit to Kerrigan for being able to do that, and you can thank their past experience for accelerating that process. And the fact that FaZe have found finals already with him has already been impressive, but being in finals and actually winning are 2 different games. And Vitality, the last 2 times they met, they were the champions. They're the ones that ended the quote-unquote FaZe era, as close as they made it in the winter.
Honestly, though, you do catch 2 CTs a little off guard, right? The apartments kill, Rain not thinking Spinks would look over stairs. And then Flamesy getting the better of the rotate and library as he had nades in hand. You put guns up for FaZe, they have been hitting. And plenty of more guns where the previous ones came from. It's another buy out of FaZe, but it's all they've got on this one. Vitality win this back-to-back round, this game's back on.
That's true. I think they know that too. And I think that calls for a slower paced round, because even if they grind down 3 or more players for FaZe, they keep that money fickle.
Whoa, they're ready.
Oh, big one.
Whole pack of players ready to charge, and they're not gonna stop. Kerrigan, the MP9, not enough to get the multi-frag. Rain, challenged, ZywOo goes over top, but he didn't get a chance to gun him down, so it's just the one-man advantage, and that one man hangs on to 17 health.
We're talking about 2 players on the other side of the world.
The nades that were left here, oh, he uses it wonderfully!
What? And now the CTs, surely, they're gonna try to join in.
They're still not moving.
Oh my God, they're not even gonna think about it.
Even with that.
I don't know, Rob's had a full kit of utility. They just were having no thought of going for this situation. Vitality win a very important round. I think that FaZe know, though, if they lost every player on this round, that can be the save to follow. That can be the save after that. So it's an economical choice. Not the sexiest, not what you want to see in the situation, but definitely might be the wisest. Now, if they were closer and you play that retake over and over again,
yes,
there's definitely a world where FaZe win it.
Not just that, if ZywOo's not planting behind the Fountain's pillar and that smoke gets popped open, I'm telling you, Rain's not shooting at the player by his side.
And that's the thing about planting Grill now, because you can break open those smokes. So people are actually planting there obviously quite often. So somehow a win for both teams. I mean, FaZe don't lose more than 3 players. They can sustain to buy again. Vitality get their round and two straight to stabilize their own economy, build up a little bit of a nest egg on their side. 3-round game. And things get interesting once again. Look at Frozen. CZ in hand. Kerrigan, just a pistol.
Couple instances of real aggression from FaZe down Banana. Kerrigan's gonna try again, but I mean, what are you expecting?
Yeah.
Hoping that nobody's in that corner, that he can just slip into one of those spots on his own.
I gotta say, Vitality have done a really great job in this series so far of rounds like this, where they don't have that many guns to work with, of making it feel like a full rifle. Setting up ZywOo for an opening kill. They've won with 1 gun. Flamesy as well, they've done that too. FaZe Clan are setting a trap over on the A site. But it doesn't look like Vitality or they themselves going to run into it. Thought we were going to see more money to buy on everybody, but FaZe will be perfectly happy to carry the guns forward again.
Of course, right? You keep that 3-player pack kerneled towards the A site. If the fight comes to you, you've got your best bet. But okay, a peek down middle, and you've now lost one of those weapons for good.
Yes, yes. They try to play this one as safely as possible, but now they're down to 2.
A costly glimpse down middle.
Now, this is one of the situations where your KPR as a lurker is
let
actually
Spinks
relevant.
hunt.
Yeah.
Let him go. That's 2 weapons now dropped out of Spinks. They're not round-winning kills, but they come with impact.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's... Oh, man. Everyone down here for FaZe Clan. It was 5-10 for a second.
Not to mention, you know, you've set up this entire round. Kerrigan pushes down Banana with a P250. Why? Because you want to keep your 3 rifles for the follow-up, and you still end up losing them.
Yeah.
They could have taken a chance. They could have ran a risk, and instead, that round looks so much flatter.
In terms of creativity on the low buys, you got to give it to Vitality. They have come up with some good ones and actually converted.
And they hunt them down.
And in a hurry, we are at a 2-round game, and because there's no op save, there will be no op bot here from FaZe Clan. Barely enough money to operate.
Apex just stares at the flames. The next wave sprints. No!
Oh!
No!
Oh my God. Alive with 2 HP.
What is that?
He almost got let down on that one. Still low.
He's still doomed. He's destined for death. Frozen's not going to let him get out of there. Oh! There's no recovering. Not this time.
Wow, the spray transfer from Frozen. Through the smoke. 3 down for Vitality. Not even at a minute.
this consistency in the banana pressure, right? From P250 on Kerrigan to 2 players applying it. A rebuy in the hands of FaZe, and it nets them 11. Worry not, Vitality. Tons of money still to play.
Yeah.
The nature of their round wins have given them that, a bank account to play with.
Yeah, they weren't just scraping by. It wasn't clutches that got them to this point of the 3-round streak.
And is it enough money to run the risk? No. Or is it?
Oh my God.
They've got Frozen and Kerrigan to deal with.
Surely they're just humoring them.
2 players who have set up great defenses for this B site. Now that ZywOo's softened, you'd think surely not.
Wait, he got a kill?
But his Tech-9 comes in regardless, and it's Kerrigan sat back waiting for their arrival.
Okay, I guess worried about trying to save on Banana. Thought their exit was blocked off. I don't know, but they lose an op and a rifle.
Get the hell out of here.
For 1 kill. Now, of course, there's still some money left for Vitality to make this interesting, but it's FaZe from a power position in the lead.
Let's fucking go! Let's go!
Boy, oh boy. What a treat we have in front of us.
Yeah.
Vitality, FaZe.
This has been specifically Frozen's team right? In these finals going up against FaZe. And even though it's only the semi now, this is what's kept him out of getting his first trophy on FaZe Clan.
Speaking of first trophies, Kerrigan in Denmark. Every time he steps forward in the Royal Arena, the whole team talks about how much he wants it, how much it means to him. And this would be another chance to take it down in another grand finals, but it's been so elusive.
So elusive for almost all Danes, honestly. So the curse of support on it, maybe. It's the Danish teams who have stood up to the adversity of crowds around the world, but when they've come to play in front of their own, have definitely struggled.
That is very true, but it is also safe to say that I have not seen this many Danes in the Royal Arena. And as we get late into this third map, I ask you, the world is watching. Copenhagen, make some noise!
Yeah, let's turn it up.
Counter-Strike at its finest. FaZe, rounds away. And Vitality, a great challenger. What's going to look different? What's going to be the pace? Because when we've seen those rapid hits towards A, those are the two things that ended up working for Vitality's D side. That quick switch.
Vitality have found some pretty good duels. It hasn't really been major mistakes. It's been a cascade of smaller ones that have cost them good positions. Getting B is huge for FaZe.
Great flash, but he doesn't clear. And then they get flashed right back. It's a turnaround, but still the trade. Numbers here for FaZe nets them this 4v4 at an instantaneous fallback.
He had a window of opportunity right there. And look at the CT shuffle right now. As we cross the minute, they seem to be worried about something.
That fast A hit.
Wait.
That's what they're worried about,
Hold
the quick transition. Anytime something goes poorly, it's usually Apex moving into A, so Kerrigan puts pieces ahead of the hit.
It's a great read.
He's reading it wonderfully. But right there on the brim of mid, goes swinging Rain into Apex's crosshair.
But there's still more support.
They're back to back. It's Brokey and Robs holding on to short, a perfect dodge. They trickle down into the pit, and the Opera only stops the one. Robs with the glance down mid, trying to catch some kind of movement. He will!
Oh.
Again, it is ZywOo with nothing as he falls, crossing out from Ab.
Oh.
Apex is dead, and Flames with 2 kills ahead gets nothing!
Oh. Robs and Porsche name a better duo. Another major moment from him. Oh, amazing to see those plays. That is gut-wrenching for Vitality. A perfect setup, but the rotation call to go to the A site was beautiful from Finn. He was responsible, he was correct. And even though they came out of halls and there were no pit players, that's right, Kerrigan.
He knows.
He knows.
Back to the action, fast and with the pace. Kerrigan barreling forward, smoke indicates all he needs. Knives out, gonna cost him. Gun goes dry, Frozen again. It is bodies lined up at the base of Banana.
And FaZe were never able to beat Vitality in these finals.
Yeah.
But with Frozen,
yes,
maybe there is a little bit more clay.
This B site's been so solid. They've had to dig so deep. And with Kerrigan watching on from the wayside, the third major grand finals for him and Rain queued up. All you have to do is stop the French Foreign Legion. Flamesy, Spinks crawling back towards mid. And Brokey, who stood up in the round prior, cheered with all his heart, is here with Op, and still he remains patient. Map, match, and a grand finals point. But with that hesitation over towards A comes this slow movement back. 2 smokes to block things off, 2 flashes to get them in, no Molotov to disrupt these positionings. It is Frozen and Rain to anchor. It is Frozen and Rain to keep FaZe this close, to punch that ticket to grand finals. We get the climb over top and a clean headshot, but Rain always stoic. And if you let your guard down, if you do that, you'll fall. Look at it. Bask in the glory of the FaZe clan. The founding fathers of CS2 sign Vitality's death certificate. They lock in grand finals.
The second team to beat Spirit this year. And finally, revenge over Vitality. Denying them a second chance to win a repeat major. FaZe in grand finals.
To dispatch of tournament favorites in the opening game, to be this continuous boogeyman that is the playoffs for all up-and-comers, and for Kerrigan to yet again get a chance in the Royal Arena. Another major on the line, and to do it in front of a crowd that chants his name, that cheers for his team. Heartbreak on the other side. Has to be said. Great back and forth between Apex and Kerrigan throughout this third map. And we see a little weakness. It can't be understated. That Vertigo game was flat. FaZe are not perfection, but they are unarguably grand finalists.
FaZe are your first team through to the grand finals. It's taken a couple more majors to get back to this spot, but you've done it again.
I mean, focus on next game. But listen to this. I never thought I would get so much crowd in Denmark. I always thought Astralis would destroy everything, but here I am, and whole Royal Arena is behind me. It's insane. Thank you, guys.
Now, Kerrigan, this game, well, Nuke, you get it, despite having struggled even against them before, right, when you faced off against Vitality. So that's a positive. But then Vertigo, maybe not quite ready for that.
I think Rain saw a few B executes. So I think we could have adapted more, but I have to give credit to Vitality. They had a great game plan on that map, and they were one step ahead, and Apex outcalled me on that map. But I feel like Nuke and Inferno is really strong match for us, right? And we showcased that, and I'm super proud that we can play 7 maps. It is crazy.
And what do you put that down to? Why are you now at least able to play, maybe not win all the time, but play 7 maps? What's the change?
We knew coming into this major, our biggest rivals on paper were Spirit and Vitality, and Na'Vi and other teams. So why not play Vertigo? We will see. I don't know who we face in the final, but now you never know what map we are banning.
And that's it, right? You've got it in your wheelhouse now, and you're in other teams' heads for sure. But what does this feel like in the team? What is the vibe you're getting right now?
If you see how we're losing T-rounds on Nuke, we are just resetting. I think we lost against 2 Egos on the T side, and we lost 3 rounds. But nobody's upset, nobody is angry. We just keep focused on next game, next round, and that's why we are so far now. So we need to stay humble. Whoever we face in the final, I'm just looking forward to blow this roof off in Royal Arena tomorrow.
And I'm damn sure they will do that, because this is incredible. But I have to ask you, on the first day before we got to playoffs, you told me, don't have any pressure here. I mean, pushing through smokes. We did see you push some smokes as well. But did you feel some pressure in this game?
No, not at all. I think obviously Inferno, I feel very comfortable. When I kind of got a little back down on our CT side, I just tried to focus. I've been in so many games, so many finals. I know that once the thoughts come, it's just another wave like in the ocean. Just let it go and just keep focusing on what's next. And I have a lot of experience after all. I've played this game for 20 years, so I know that I need to focus on the positive, and that's what I'm doing for tomorrow.
And that's what it's all about, the positives, and you always find them. But how do you not overthink so many of these situations? Because you do have all this experience, you've gone through so many different situations.
I think overthinking is basically making sure that you are never in the zone. If you just think about the moment you're in, focus on the frag, focus on the flashbang for your teammate, you don't get a chance to overthink. I've been overthinking a lot of my career, but the last few years, it's all about enjoying what we're doing and what we are creating, and that's what I'm doing here all the time.
Well, you've done it. You've made yourself into the major grand final here in Copenhagen. Royal Arena, let me hear you make some noise for Carrigan and FaZe Clan!
Yes, such amazing scenes. Carrigan has done it again, getting his flowers for the first time here in the Royal Arena, and I love it. He's one of my Counter-Strike heroes. I hope he stays grounded, because, you know, tomorrow, it's not just a date with a final, it's a date with destiny. I think if they go on to win this tournament, he is the GOAT. He'd be my GOAT.
And who would I be to debate you, honestly?
Yeah.
Listen, I have an unlimited amount of respect for Carrigan, and yet he finds ways to improve that respect. It's crazy what he was able to do on that map of Inferno. So many rounds on the knife's edge, so many decisions that made or broke situation. He had the right call, he had the moments, he had the vision, he had the nerves. This is a very hurtful loss for Vitality, and the other side of the coin is an incredible performance for FaZe.
If anything, I also want to give all the credit in the world to Carrigan. Obviously, you know, being inside this arena, playing in front of 14,000 people, cheering his name and hyping him up. Even more so, Vitality as a team, you know, couldn't match the team of FaZe Clan. That's my main takeaway from this one as well. FaZe Clan in this game showed up as a team. Not a single player went missing. Everyone showed up. Everyone had their moment. You can give as much credit you want to in terms of Carrigan's performance, Carrigan's calling, but every single player from FaZe Clan showed up throughout this matchup, and that's what makes a winning team.
I mean, I agree with you. It's across the board, and of course we give a lot of praise to Carrigan because he's the captain, but I really think that there is a philosophy of remaining calm in moments that are uncertain, moments that are chaotic. We were on the seats, on the edge of our seats for so many times, and you can feel the calmness on FaZe's crosshair, and it absolutely struck true. I am flabbergasted.
Yeah, well, look, we'll talk about the game in just a moment. We go back to the stage where Banks has Apex.
Thank you, Richard. Guys, give him a big round of applause for standing here and doing this. It's not easy, Dan, it never is. But you guys fought the whole way through. You fought through some crazy circumstances. I just want to first ask about this series against FaZe. Did it feel like you were looking so comfortable when you saw this veto go down?
Well, yeah, I think that Inferno, we had so many great moments that we should have converted, and we lost most of them. I think there were a lot of like miscommunication and I would say mislistening, and that was pretty rough. That's unfortunate, that's the way it is, that's high pressure moments. We needed to answer in a better way, and we didn't, and they deserve the win anyway today.
And what do you make that come down to? What do you think that is the reason for these mistakes? Because we saw you guys on a better trajectory.
Well, you know, it's all about dealing with the pressure and in this moment listening to each other, because I think we had like really good rates, really good moments that we didn't convert at all. And yeah, that that killed us at the end. We tried to come back on T side, but yeah, we didn't win enough rounds, and that was pretty rough.
And looking at this, right, okay, you were the previous major champions. You guys come in this, that playing against Cloud9 was very comfortable for you. Do you feel like that was maybe too comfortable for you guys?
No, not really. I think we were ready today. But yeah, once again, I think pressure hit us a little bit in some sense. And that's the way it is when you want to win big title in Counter-Strike. You have pressure, but you need to deal with it. And we didn't today. Not enough, at least.
And what do you want to say to all the fans? Look at this, your crowd here of the Golden Hornets. They've all got hearts up for you, man.
Well, I want to thank, of course, the Golden Hornets, all the French that came here, all the Vitality fans. Thank you very much. Sorry to disappoint you today. The next one will be ours.
That's what it's all about. Guys, a big round of applause and so much respect for Apex.
Yeah, a lot of respect for Apex. Obviously, someone I've known a long, long time. We came through Source together. I watched him develop through CSGO, where he was one of the monster entry fraggers, you know, an impact player, part of that great generation of French talent. And I've watched him, you know, in his late 20s, start to learn the craft of being an IGL. And I would just say to him, it hurts today. Have some wine, relax. But remember, you were the reigning champions coming into this, and you got within touching distance again. Nothing to be ashamed of. And as we'll talk about, he even did it without his star player really helping him out this tournament. So I would just say to Dan, you know, don't worry too much about this. I know you'll be back.
Of course, and listen, it is very understandable how he feels right now. And I do think he's on the money. I think he's right when he says they had so many situations on Inferno which on paper looked favorable to them. And this is where, as a leader, as a competitor, you are just incredibly frustrated to see things unravel because of miscommunications, because of a little bit of tension. We're not listening to each other. We're not reacting to the calls. When you rewatch that VOD, if you're Apex, you are going to eat your own fingers. It is going to hurt like the dickens. That's what's going to happen. And Counter-Strike sometimes is about it. Is about a miscom, a mistiming, a misdecisions. And from now, I have no words for him. I agree with you. The respect is here for him, what he's been able to accomplish, what he's developed into. But today, it hurts, and it should hurt. If you are a team that has as a goal to lift trophies continuously, that loss on Inferno is unfortunately unacceptable. You can lose, not this way, and as a leader with expectation, I understand that he's just disheartened.
No shame in losing to FaZe Clan with the way they're playing at this playoff. That being said, I agree with you. Vitality came into this tournament maybe a little bit shaky. We didn't know where to pinpoint them. Obviously one of the predetermined favorites. You said it, Richard, getting within touching distance. They were, you know, Inferno was much closer than the scoreboard suggests, I would say. I agree with Matthew, I agree with Apex when he's saying that there was a couple of moments in that game that could have made sure that we were probably still playing the game right now. It was a close game of Counter-Strike. Unfortunately for Vitality, they faced a better team today. They faced a Frozen who stepped up. You called out his name. He had a fantastic series overall. And then FaZe Clan. 5 days ago, we went into the playoff thinking they were close not even qualifying for it. They were close not even making it out of the group stage. They were 1 and 2 in the elimination stage, and all of a sudden they play the best brand of Counter-Strike we've seen FaZe Clan play